Welcome back, everybody. It's been days and days since we were here. Like, I don't know, what was it, 5 days?
Yeah, less than a week.
Yeah, but like I told everybody, we're trying to squeeze in as much love as we can with Shane while he's still here to help us before we go black. So I don't know if we'll ever come back. If maybe we can talk him in to help us learn how to run the gear. I don't know. Yeah. Worry about that a different day. Welcome back, Mike.
Welcome back.
What'd you do this weekend?
What did I do this weekend?
You taught class with me.
I worked yesterday, and we taught class the day before, so yeah.
Yes, and the weather gods shined on us.
Yeah, that was awesome. The forecast was pretty iffy, and we lucked out. I mean, it was a little cloudy here and there, but it was pretty nice.
Yeah, when you were given the initial the medical brief and the safety briefing, and I was telling him, like, the trees up there are bent sideways. That's not
with
good.
rain, yeah, and wind.
God.
Yeah, that was
yeah,
pretty bad.
but it was awesome. So it was a good day.
Yeah, it was.
People learned.
I think so.
And they brought food.
They did.
Excellent.
One of them provided us lunch.
Yes.
Thanks
that was
to Serenity. That was awesome. Serena.
Because she likes you, so you can call her Serena.
Okay. All right.
All right. I doubt she follows us. Maybe she'll hear that. And where'd you work yesterday?
I just worked ambulance, doing ambulance.
Just ambulance
stuff.
One of your. So you do officially have 5 jobs, right?
I don't know. Three.
At
least three.
At least 3.
Yeah.
Any given time.
Yeah.
If you have to count, if it takes you a few seconds to count.
Honestly, like, is what do we count as a job, right?
Teaching classes is a job.
Is that a job? So that's 4.
Okay.
Right, and then
you work at ambulance.
Yeah.
You work for a police department.
Yeah.
You work for another ambulance.
Yeah. So that's 4, I guess.
Yeah.
4.
And you have your own consulting business where you go out of state and lecture people.
So 5.
There. All right. Just 5. and you raise dogs.
I do, but that's a labor of love.
It is a labor of love.
I just spent an hour.
Your dog tries to die on you every week.
I got off at 6 o'clock this morning. I went home and I spent like an hour trying to wear her out so she wouldn't drive my wife crazy while I was over here. Because she's very, very, puppy, right?
Yeah.
She's been in the kennel for 5-6 hours overnight, and she's very hyper in the morning. Like, she's tore up my tile floor in my kitchen.
Eat your tile.
She's eaten my tile in my kitchen. I'm gonna let it ride out. I got a rug over it right now.
Well,
and when she stops going through that phase, maybe I'll get the tile fixed. But right now,
Serena's actually on today. She's following us.
Nice.
That was awesome.
Yes,
so she heard about herself.
So it's very hyper. I wore out. We played some fetch.
You love your dogs, don't you?
I do.
And your wife really loves your dogs.
She does.
So I'm going to throw you a curveball. Shane doesn't even have this listed.
Uh-oh.
Should you shoot somebody that's killing your dog?
Oh, wow. There you had to go there, didn't you?
Uh-huh.
Man, that's a surprise subject.
Yeah, it is. So
do you understand how people
here's the emotional conflict people go through, right?
Yeah.
Our dogs are part of our family as most people's pets are, right?
Sure.
But
you still eat them at the end of the world if you're starving to death.
So to be consistent in whatever, then no, you shouldn't.
Do you see that article about the lady who she killed her husband because he was beating their cat?
Yeah.
And so and I knew by posting that, sometimes we do that, we would get all kinds of reactions from people that were like, well, I'd do that too. Well, then you go to prison too.
People are very, very emotionally invested in their animals, and the heat of the moment, and all that. And we're going to talk about training later, right? But that's where training comes in.
Sure.
That's where some of that comes in. And it goes back to, we talked a couple shows ago about stress inoculation and getting punched in the face, and how are you going to react if you've never been punched before and all that. So you should do stuff to kind of get used to that. Well,
so we're going to punch each other in the face today.
No, not today.
Okay.
But you should also at least think about what you would do. And like the first time you have to think about what should I do if somebody just killed my dog is not when they actually just did it.
Yeah. Nope, I understand. I'm not killing anybody because they're killing my dog.
Right.
So sorry, Soph.
Yeah, be a very sad day though.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting. Somebody chimed in on the Facebook page saying, hey, if he would beat a cat, he'd beat a wife, and he was probably abusive. That's a lot of ifs, and ifs. Like, all we know in the details is she confessed to shooting him and killing him because he was beating the cat. So
I mean,
didn't even kill the cat. He was just beating the cat.
That is the facts.
Yeah.
That's the facts.
That's all we know right now.
You can kind of project, and people have read about how serial killers start out killing small animals. Yeah, that's a fact also.
Sure.
But in this case, it was not the fact. He was just beating the cat.
Yeah, I hear you. So it'll be interesting as all the real like when I say details. If she goes to prison, that should be a lecture to people who say, "Oh, I would kill somebody if you were hurting my fur baby," and it's like, Iowa law. And I reminded Brooke, one of the guys that follows, he has lots of cats. He saves cats all the time. Cat guy. But, I told him, hey, Nick Maybank sat right over there and said, reasonable force when defending property by Iowa law doesn't ever equal deadly force.
Right.
Yep.
And that's
because a lot of people say, well, deadly force is reasonable force over here. Well, yeah, if it's human life, not when it's your Harley or your dog. So
this whole discussion, though, is really a first world problem.
it is.
Because because we're the only ones that really give a crap about animals.
Yeah.
Like other parts of the world,
They eat them.
or they're livestock, or they're just like over in Europe, not in the say developed areas, Germany, Italy, something like that, but like in the Balkans and stuff like that, there's feral dogs running around. They just shoot them.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it doesn't mean anything to them, right?
Yeah.
Just here in the United States and probably in parts of Europe or whatever is where we really care about our pets as much as we do.
Yeah.
So
I've met a lot of people. I bring it up every carry class, and there's always somebody that I see them like shaking their head like, yeah, I'm probably that person that would do that. I'm like, no, don't. Your dog doesn't want you to go to prison. So, hey, you have like 20 people watching you right now.
That's all right.
Hi, 20 people. Thank you very much. We're going to squeeze in a bunch of shows.
I just want to point out that we still have the number for Foundation 2 up. We're going to keep that up throughout this podcast.
Awesome.
Just to remind people.
Did you just smooth that in, or did you just realize it's there? Because either way, it sounded sexy.
So I'm smooth.
You're smooth.
Right?
It
I
is
smoothed
smooth.
it in.
Isn't that rule number 4 after
It is always
look cool and be a helicopter
right?
pilot?
Right.
Yeah.
But I did know we were leaving it up there because
That's
Shane
good.
and I talked about it. So.
That's good. Yes. As long as they don't think they're calling you at 1-800.
No, that's not my number.
No.
Not my number.
But Mike would get you help. So, all right.
Trying something new today too.
What are you trying?
Look, we got subjects.
Oh, yeah, we do. And so that's what they see?
That's what
That's
they
what
say.
they
That's
see.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Teacher stops active shooter. Lay it on me. Which time?
Well, the most recent time, I guess, is the one that's been in the news is the teacher in Indiana.
Yep.
I think it was a middle school. I think it was a middle school.
Wasn't he also a coach also?
Yeah. So apparently the kid left his classroom, used the old "I got to go to the bathroom" excuse or whatever. Came back with 2 handguns and started shooting kids. Shot one before the teacher tackled him. Teacher got shot 3 times as well. So 2 people were wounded. I don't believe anybody died. So probably about the best outcome you could have in that situation.
Sure.
I just want to talk about. I think one of the things people are putting too much emphasis on is like, oh, he's a football coach. It doesn't matter.
No, I understand.
It doesn't matter. What matters is that he had the mental fortitude, and he probably had thought about it in the past. I'm sure if you dig back, he maybe had some active shooter training of some sort.
Nope.
He definitely probably thought about his reaction because
If this happened
if this happens to me, this is what I'm going to do. And I find more and more teachers are doing that.
Sure.
I think they get a bad rap that, hey, they don't want to fix the problem and all they want to do is hide and lock down.
Yeah. I don't agree with that either.
That might be the administration's official policy, but a lot of the teachers I know, and I know quite a few,
And I know a lot of teachers, and none of them are planning on,
they're not going down, man.
they have limited resources, but it's not, I'm going to roll over and give up.
And I'm not going to dime them out, but there's a few that I know that have tools in their classroom.
As
right?
they should. Everybody
Right?
should have letter openers and fire
they got
extinguishers. and
stuff like that. They've staged things. They're like, I can't have a firearm, but I can have this, and they've staged things.
I didn't see anywhere in the rules you couldn't have a percussion grenade.
Right?
Yeah.
You get a hold of it?
Let me see you find those words anywhere in there.
Yeah.
So,
No, so I just this teacher's name is Jason Seaman. So I think he's out of the hospital now. Shot 3 times. Point out another point that we make in our active shooter class, that just because you take training and have a plan and all that doesn't mean somebody's not going to get hurt.
no.
And he realized that, and he accepted that, and he did it anyway. And so
He's a hero.
he is. I mean, for real, I hate people that use the word hero.
I know.
I really hate the people that use the word badass because they don't know what the hell that word means for real, right? Running a 10K does not make you a badass. It just makes you a person that can run 6 miles.
No.
But this guy legit is a hero. I mean, I really do think he probably saved a lot of kids' lives.
Yeah. Even if you saved one, it matters. So,
Yes, absolutely.
No, I agree with you. The word hero gets thrown around too much. The word patriot, all that. Then you make some people butthurt. But the guy, he did something incredible. And you're right. He didn't have to be a coach. He didn't have to be male, female, doesn't matter. Anybody could have done it. But
I just think he had a plan.
it's on a lot of people's minds, yeah, and it should be. And then people are like, well, it's, this is a sick world that I have to think about this. I mean, you can have that lecture and have that attitude.
Yeah, but really,
still,
is it any sicker than I mean, when you lived in, the 1300s in England, you had to worry about getting stabbed by a friggin' spear.
Sure.
Right? Everybody's got to worry about crap.
Yeah, I hear you.
Right? I don't have to worry about spears nowadays. I did go to the Renaissance Festival, though.
Yes, and it was hot there.
People were dropping like flies, man.
When you say you went to the Renaissance Festival, were you there on a work capacity?
I was there this time in a work capacity.
Yeah, because people were dropping like flies.
People were dropping like flies from the heat, but I've been there before as a spectator or whatever.
So when you think about all those, you brought up the word badass, so I'm going to throw you a curveball. Here we go, Shane. How do you like all the badass memes that people put up? And it's always like guys in full dress and swords and talking about, the ones talking about in the gun world. They always want to represent themselves as like some medieval warrior, right? And
I'm the sheepdog, I'm the lion, I'm the crusader.
Yeah.
Well, you've seen my shirt I have.
You would also pass out in the heat the other day.
Yeah. I got that shirt that I don't know. I don't think I've probably
your
worn a
sheepdog
couple times.
shirt.
My sheepdog
I've
shirt.
Seen it.
Yeah, so that's kind of making fun of that, but I get it. And I'm probably guilty of some of that stuff. I post military-themed stuff sometimes. But, you got to take yourself with a grain of salt, too. Like, if you really believe that stuff, I think you're kind of overboard a little.
All right. Real-life Dungeons & Dragons?
Real-life Dungeons & Dragons, yeah.
All right. Okay, look at that. Oh, you check things off.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
It changes color.
Louis' Restaurant, and not Louis' Restaurant in Iowa.
No.
Louis' Restaurant.
In
Talk
Oklahoma,
about it.
I think.
Yeah. Let's have you start raining on their parade and have everybody say you're mean.
Yeah, so that was a big story. Good guy, freaking good guy at the gun, better than bad guy at the gun, and all the stuff they say, right?
Yep.
If you read what happened, and I'm going to paraphrase it, guy goes in, shoots a couple people at the restaurant, leaves the restaurant with a firearm, and leaves. Guy driving by on the road thinks there's some kind of medical emergency because of the commotion. Pulls in. I think I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think he was some sort of EMT or whatever. Anyway, he pulls in to help. Mm-hmm. Good for him. He finds out it's a active shooter incident, and the guy's left. And this is where I have a problem with it. The guy already left. He goes to his trunk and gets out a firearm and chases the guy into the woods. Meanwhile, another guy also stops and gets his firearm out of his trunk. So neither one of them are carrying their firearms. They got them in the trunk. Mm-hmm. Pulls it out. Doesn't know the other guy already chased the bad guy into the woods. Goes after the bad guy in the woods. So now you got two citizens that don't know each other are armed chasing another bad guy with a gun. It's just a bad scenario.
Is that a bad recipe?
It's a bad recipe. I mean, and it turned out okay, lucky for them, but it could turn out very badly. There was a incident, I don't know if you remember, about a year and a half ago, a former Marine. That's why I saw it, because it was all over the Marine Corps Times and everything. This guy robbed a Walgreens, went out to his car, was getting ready to leave, or he shot somebody in the Walgreens. I can't remember the exact incident. Anyway, the important part is, a guy confronted him. Well, the bad guy just shot him. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not our job to confront people. You're there.
Especially if they've left.
Yeah, you're there to your firearms to protect yourself or others if you need to. If they've already left, you don't need to.
Yeah,
that's law enforcement's job.
A lot of people aren't going to like you said that.
Well, they're gonna argue. Oh, he stopped him from killing. He could have went down the street and killed more people.
You need more people to stand up. Or
he could have.
You need to put more bad guys in the ground.
I suppose he could have, but it's not your job.
Yeah. It's all back to, like you said in training, is saying, hey, guess what? I've already decided I'm not willing to die over my dog, and I'm not going to go get myself killed, especially in a robbery that's over and they're leaving, like they've left.
Yeah, they've already left the area, and now you're going to chase the guy into the woods. You don't even really know where he's at.
And I say those kind of things in class every time, and you can even, you read people. We're pretty good at that. But, you'll have people look at you like, well, you're just going to let a guy get away. And it's like, when people like, could I go intervene? Could I do this? Could I do that? And that's back to like those questions where they say, can I shoot this person? Where, the difference is do you need to? Like, do you need to? No. Can you legally? If you want to try the fleeing felling thing, like, hey, I saw him commit a violent felony, and now he has a gun and he's going toward another populated area. This scenario. I mean, same thing really as I would say you have to deal with as law enforcement is, can you really say to yourself, well, other people are probably going to get hurt if I let this guy go? I don't know. I just decide I'm not going to.
I think it's.
I'm not going to chase anybody.
This is me, right?
Yeah.
Even in that situation, it's not your responsibility to chase that guy. Be a good witness, get law enforcement, tell him which way he went. It's a totally different scenario than you're in the Louis restaurant and you watch the guy cap a few people and he's still in there waving the gun around. That's totally different. Now he's threatening everybody.
Yes.
That's a different scenario.
And he's proven that he's willing to commit violence.
Right.
Yep.
Once he's left and he's trying to make his escape, it's really not your job to chase him.
Like you said, though, in the beginning, initial details was just even there's a law enforcement official of some sort said it's no question this guy saved lives. Well,
yeah. Well, I mean, I would question that. Like, how do you know? You can't definitively say that, but I mean, we can assume.
Sure.
But just like we did with the teacher, right? I can assume that he saved some kids' lives.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, do you feel like do you think it's disingenuous for the NRA to have posted this, which you're just talking about? Did he save lives? Well, the NRA posted this tweet saying armed citizens stopped shooting at Oklahoma City restaurant, saved multiple lives last night.
Yeah, so I was actually just going to bring that up with the whole good guy with the gun thing, and that's kind of what that's their agenda. That's what they're pushing. They're going to always filter stuff through that lens and make it look
right. But did he save lives, or did those two individuals chase somebody after the active shooter?
Yeah, we can't
situation?
say that he saved lives.
And that's back to where you can't prove that they didn't, and we can't prove they did.
Yeah, we really don't. We can't say yes or no one way or the other. Potentially, I guess you could say, like if you put the word potentially in there, it'd probably be.
Potentially, I'm right most of the time.
Yeah. Like, hey, what time is it going to stop raining?
Yeah. Here's the best quote from Saturday.
It's a Mike-ism.
Mike's looking at Weatherbug, and he's like, okay, by 10 a.m., there's a 100% chance it quit raining at 9. And I'm like, what'd you just say? Like, you sound like Ron Burgundy.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So 10
but you were right. You ended up being right.
I know.
Yeah. By 10 a.m., it wasn't raining. So the big problem in the gun world, here we say, we'll call it the gun world. You still have, do good guys stop bad guys with a firearm sometimes?
They do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
But the problem is, it's not the only way good guys stop bad guys.
No.
And so I, like you, I understand is I wish they would just change their mantra a little bit. And, the fact that, and that is the problem. You don't have to have a firearm to do something to intervene like the teacher did in Indiana or like however many. Think of all the people you talk about during your active shooter class who stopped something.
I just think I think it encourages bad actions. Like now you get 3 people running around with a gun and that nobody knows what the other one's doing. One's a bad guy. Yeah. 2 are good guys. The 2 good guys could have shot each other. Right?
I hadn't even read those details. So when you said that surprised me because I'm just reading again. I'll see I'm guilty of it. I'll see the headlines. I'll read through it. Nothing ever mentioned about chasing them into the woods that I've read, but I haven't read about it for like 4 days.
Right.
So as always, as more comes out, you're like, oh, okay, well, yeah. I mean, how do you know? And so if the cop showed up and would have shot one of the armed civilians that was actually, when I say legally doing something good, and when I say good, it wasn't evil.
Their intent was good.
Yes. But, hey, if the cops show up and tell that guy to put his effing gun on the ground and he turns toward him like, what are you talking about? And the cop has to shoot him, then what happens in the gun world? Do you have a bunch of people talking about how these jackbooted thugs with badges are shooting good guys?
And also, they're distracting from the actual bad guys, so now they got to deal with somebody else.
There you go.
I mean, resources and all that. So just overall a bad idea. And I agree. We're probably going to get some comments. Call me a wimp. And
I am a wimp.
Like a blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, whatever, dude. I ain't going to prove nothing to you.
No, you don't. I mean, you proved that you could make it stop raining, so I'm impressed with that.
Right.
So, look, somebody admitted they're not going to. Oh, Matt called himself a wimp. There's 2 wimps. We should start Wimpy Man Club.
That's right.
It's all right. Jousting in the heat? Hell no. Oh, that's one of the guys. Chris, I think he goes to those things.
Those things are fun. I told you the story, right?
Sure.
I think I've told you the story about what my wife said.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Well, not everybody else has heard it.
Well, I don't
Okay,
know.
I'll tell the story.
You can't
Okay,
just
sorry,
tease people
sorry.
with that.
Yeah.
I thought I'd done
Forget
it on the
there's
show before.
thousands of people
Yes,
listening.
Thousands. Like if there's thousands of people listening,
Yeah.
I've got a jelly donut right here, which I don't.
Yeah.
But anyway, so my wife's native. We go to a lot of powwows.
Sure.
Right? A lot of powwows. A lot more than we used to do. A lot more than we do now. There's not as many opportunities around here, but we still enjoy going to powwows and they have vendors that sell earrings and leather things and things with feathers and freaking carved wood and like all this stuff, right?
I get it.
So that's a staple there. So anyway, we go up to the Renaissance. The first time we ever went to this Renaissance fair, we go in and we start looking around. And, at powwows, you got a lot of natives and even some non-natives walking around with, like, they call it regalia, right? Feathers and friggin' hoops and all this stuff, right?
Yep.
Well, there's people walking around in, like, pirate costumes and armor and, like, leather and freaking dresses. And then you see the vendors selling earrings and carved wood and leather stuff and, like, feather stuff. And my wife looks at me and she goes, "This is like a powwow for white people." I just fell over. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
That is probably the most accurate assessment of a Renaissance fair I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Well, you guys went. Where's the big one you went to? What's that called? The Gathering of Nations.
Gathering Nations in powwow we went to about a month ago now.
That was the big one, right?
Yeah, it's the largest one in the United States.
Yeah.
It's thousands of people there. It was a good time.
How many Mike McAmeals were there?
Just one.
Yeah.
Just
All
one.
right. He checked another thing off the list. You got to move on.
Okay.
No,
Now-
you don't have to move on. You can talk about this stuff
No,
as
I
much
mean,
as you
yeah,
want.
it's. Well, Mike knew more details than I did. I'm guilty of that. But yeah, don't.
I mean, the
don't-
point was made. Don't chase people in the woods. man.
Yeah, don't get yourself shot by the cops. And like you said, when lucky, that's back to where hey, luck counts, but let's not count on luck.
Exactly.
No, because nothing bad didn't happen.
You have to make kind of like Spider-Man or whatever that saying comes from. With
We're going
great
to
power
Spider-
comes great responsibility. Like
Wow.
you carry a gun.
Spider-Man said
Yeah.
that.
Spider-Man.
Well, actually,
His
Uncle Ben
Uncle
said
Ben
that.
said
Uncle
that
Ben said
to
that.
Spider-Man
Yeah.
Really?
when he got his powers.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's a little Marvel trivia for you.
Uncle Ben should be in
We're
firearms
geeking out.
training.
And he's dead.
Yeah, I know.
I know he's
They
dead.
killed him.
He killed him. That's why Spider-Man does what he does.
That's why Spider-Man sought out revenge.
Yes. But anyway, that's an appropriate saying because you're going to carry a gun, then you can't act like just any other jackhole running around town doing whatever you want.
I understand.
You have responsibilities
I'm gonna
to.
bring on the hate. There's gonna be so much hate coming.
I
for
know.
You.
I
Yeah.
dare you.
Yes.
Come on.
Send Mike hate.
Bring me.
You've already lost 2 viewers.
Oh,
See?
geez.
You already lost them. You wimp. You lost 2 viewers. That was 10% of our following.
If anybody can argue with me about the.
Okay, that's it. I'm making the meme of you sitting at the table
I'm
and the sign says, "Don't chase people into the woods." Change my mind.
Change my mind, right? But if anybody
No,
can
really, we're
bring
gonna
up
do
an
that.
argument that's actually an argument and not just calling names
Mm-hmm.
and try to convince me why it's a good idea to chase a guy with a gun into the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like the beginning of a
not a
bad
good idea.
movie.
You know,
That's where I used to work. That's called an ambush.
Yeah.
They used to.
They like to sucker you into
Yeah,
the
they
woods,
suck
right?
you in, right?
yeah. You know, you had a great segue there. You said with great power comes great responsibility. I don't have this on the ticker on the side on the subjects, but we have an FBI agent who loses his gun during a dance floor backflip. Is that great power with great responsibility?
No. Now, first of all, let's be fair. The backflip was very impressive.
It was impressive.
Super impressive.
Sure.
Needs a better holster. I hope everybody says this is a reason not to drink and carry a gun. I wasn't there, so I don't know that he was drinking. What I do know there is be careful when you pick up a firearm. It's the same rule as like, hey, don't reach for a falling firearm.
Right.
And then, if you look, I mean, he does. I can understand. When I say understand, it shouldn't have happened, but he immediately wants to get that gun back. Like, oh, crap.
he's
my gun.
embarrassed, right?
Sure, he's embarrassed or whatever. Can you think of, and who knows? I don't know his complete, how much clarity of mind he had, but if
That's the beauty of this show. We can just make up the
has
facts
anybody
as we go and say what we want.
Well, yeah, has anybody you ever dropped your gun before your carry gun? Come on,
I'm trying
you
to
gonna be
think.
honest?
No, I'm trying to be honest, but I'm trying to think. I'm just going to say yes. I don't remember a specific incident, but I'll say yes.
Oh, I definitely. And mine dropped, bounced off the floorboard of my car, and fell out into the Hy-Vee parking lot. And I'm like, I literally oh, okay, I'm going to squat down and fix this. But Is it embarrassing? Sure.
Yeah, I've definitely dropped a magazine.
I'm just
out of
glad
my
I didn't
pocket.
shoot myself, apparently, if I'm going to push a gun out of a holster. So,
You know what I did one time? Now, this is embarrassing.
okay.
Remember that car? You probably don't remember. I got rid of it because I didn't like it. But that car,
Car arms.
car
Pistol.
arms. Yeah.
Why are you laughing, voice in the corner?
K-A-H-R.
Yes.
K-A-H-R arms pistol 40 caliber that I had.
You're not about to tell me you shot yourself in the butt or something, did
No,
you?
I did something even stupider.
What's stubborn
I
shoot
was
yourself in the butt?
Clearing it.
Yep.
The reason I didn't like that gun is that it had very aggressive stippling on the backstrap, cut my little girly hands.
You said that.
And it also had an extremely strong recoil spring. I mean, the thing was incredibly heavy.
It sounds like you're telling a story.
And I am telling a story. And I went to clear it, and I couldn't get the slide all the way back, so it kind of went forward, and it caught the webbing of my hand in the ejection port. The gun's hanging by my skin.
Yeah.
That freaking hurt, dude.
Yeah.
That
And it's
hurt.
And it's not an easy gun to reach over.
Yeah, and then I'm
like,
trying to like get it. I'm like, ah! Oh, that sucked.
Yeah.
I sold that thing like about a month later.
So you were mad at it?
Stupid gun. Anyway, yeah. So embarrassing things that happened. But so this guy did a backflip and
Gun fell
gun
out.
falls out and he tries to grab it and
Squeezes off one round into somebody's leg.
Yeah, you see
Yeah.
that picture right there of the gun going off.
Oh, did you provide that for him? Yep.
Yeah.
Ouch. He does apparently have a holster, but it's not a holster with a lot of retention. But then again, I got to admit, I have never done backflips. Now, you've done if you're going to wrestle with Craig Douglas, you'll figure out if your holster has retention, right?
yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's why I've changed some of the stuff I've done because of that. But I haven't done a backflip either. I think backwards rolls is about the extent of my capability.
Yeah.
Even that's a little rough.
I can roll. I have the capability to roll. I'm good at rolling downhill.
So what do you think the consequences of that mistake should be for him? I mean, Roseanne Barr loses her contract and no more
Oh, wait. You had to
television
go there?
series.
Seriously?
Well, I mean, some people lose their career. Like their career becomes destroyed because of a tweet, whereas somebody
So,
shoots somebody. What do
I
you think
know,
the consequences?
like I can only put it in the context of my government service, right? The unit I was in, you have a negligent discharge, you're gone. Like you're not out of the military.
Yep.
They're not going to take away your job.
Yeah.
You no longer have the privilege of being in that unit because you can't obviously make good judgment. So you're gone.
Wow.
Right? So I don't know if something like that's going to happen to him.
You mean should he still have his job?
Well, I don't think he should be fired.
Okay.
But I don't know
It
what
didn't happen at work.
No, it didn't happen at work. But he's bringing. I'm a big believer on don't embarrass your organization.
Sure.
So I tried anywhere I work, no matter if I agree or disagree with them, I will not make them look bad to the best of my ability, right? So he's made the FBI look bad, so they're probably going to do something. I don't want him to lose his job, but I'm sure he's going to get something in his file and maybe some retraining, and maybe they're going to encourage him to get a better holster. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Or don't carry at weddings. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe don't.
And I wouldn't say don't
away.
carry at weddings. I don't drink, so I carry my gun at a wedding. I've done that, but I'm also not doing backflips.
Well, right. That's the thing, right? So carrying at the wedding wasn't the issue.
No, and we don't know that he was drinking.
And you said, yeah, so I'm not even going to mention that. So drinking is probably a bad idea. But even here in Iowa, you can have a couple drinks and you're not illegal.
Yeah, you're not illegal. You're just not smart.
Yeah, so we're talking about making good decisions, and probably doing backflips is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Now, in this article, they do say authorities have not identified the agent because he was not arrested.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not that familiar with the
You mean
law
can I
because
shoot
I've
you
never
in the
been
leg
arrested
this morning and not get arrested?
That's what I'm wondering. How many times do people accidentally shoot somebody and not get arrested?
So
Yeah.
we just had a comment. Kevin here says if this guy was a regular person, he'd be in jail, but he works for the government, so nothing will happen. Do you really think that's true?
That's not true because people accidentally shoot people. And when I say all the time, does it happen dozens, if not hundreds of times a year in the United States of America? It does. Show me how many of them went to prison. So I can show you several accidents. You go backwards and look up the word accidental shooting. There were several of them in Marion alone in the last 5 years. None of those people are in jail. And when you say, yeah, one of them's in jail right now for like 5 other crimes he's done 3 years later. But just because you accidentally shoot someone does not mean you go to jail. Not at all. Nope. It doesn't mean it's smart. It doesn't mean I condone it. But no, you don't go to...
It doesn't mean you can't get any civil penalties.
Sure. Oh,
Yeah.
could someone sue you?
Yeah, absolutely,
Yep. Just like, how many people get injured by car accidents? Do you see every one of them in jail? Same thing. So you can't start calling for every time you shoot somebody accidentally, that person should go to jail. Otherwise, every time you ever injured someone, even just a shin with your vehicle, then that driver should go to jail.
Yeah, I think it goes without saying that he's probably going to have some civil penalties.
Yeah.
The guy's going to sue him, or he's going to at least the
And who knows if
insurance is going to kick in or whatever.
We'll figure out if it was his friend. And that's when people are like, oh, my friend wouldn't sue me. Well, let's say he even shot his friend in the shin. I'll tell you what's going to happen is his friend's insurance company that has to pay for all that medical is going to say, hey, you caused this. You owe us this. So it's going to cost money.
I have a story, and I got to kind of tiptoe around it because I can't identify the participants. But, yeah, tiptoe. He's like,
I love it when you
it was
tiptoe.
Donald Trump, wasn't it?
No.
Just
So
say it.
I was involved with an organization where one of the members of that organization caused injury to somebody that belonged to another organization. And we had a working relationship, right?
Are you following this?
So I'm really
trying
tiptoeing
to.
around it, but because I still have an involvement with both these places. So anyway, something happened. The two parties agreed we're good, right?
Yep.
However, exactly like you said, the insurance companies were like, screw that.
Oh, yeah.
And they went after each other, and it turned into this big thing.
It's always going
and
to.
it caused problems between the two organizations who originally were like, hey, we're good.
Yeah.
But the insurance company's like, no, we're not good. You're paying for this and you're paying for that. And
That's
it turned
true,
into
though.
a big deal.
People don't, they always say that, well, if it was my friend, that you got to realize it's not, you don't get to say, oh, it's okay. I shot Mike and Mike's cool with it. And he said, hey, I understand how it could happen. Don't let that happen again. No, your insurance company is not happy for paying $30,000 for you to get a, procedure or way more money than that. They're not just going to be like, oh, we're going to let it slide because Mike said he likes you. No, it doesn't work that way. You're going to pay. So, every bullet has a lawyer. Isn't that what they say?
I've never heard that, but I like we're just write this stuff down, folks.
No, that's super
these
old.
These are quotes.
Every
These are
round you
quotes.
fire has a lawyer attached. That's pretty true, really.
Yeah.
For cheesy cliches, that's pretty true.
We're full of it today.
Well,
cliches.
there's a lot of people that think we're full of it every single day.
Well, that's okay. They can think that.
Yeah.
My eyes are blue. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, mine are brown. You know the deal.
We had a couple of hashtags last time. It was hashtag give a shit.
Yeah.
And there was another one that we didn't bring up.
Well, we're not bringing up all of them. Yeah. Let's not act like we don't say some things off microphone that stay there. Yes. Not every hashtag is for public.
So what do you think? You think this guy's going to get? I think he's probably going to get reprimanded.
Yeah, he'll
maybe sent to the what do they call it, field office in Poughkeepsie.
Poughkeepsie.
Yeah, well, there's in the world of law enforcement, there's hey, you screwed up, so go home and take a day off, and it's paid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you might even have to take an unpaid, which is the big deal.
Yeah.
Yep. I would encourage again when you say tiptoe around these things. So these guys and gals out there, they can't play along in uniform, but I would like to know if anybody works at any department that doesn't already have a bullet hole somewhere inside that department.
Yeah, I've heard stories.
Heard stories, or facts?
No, I heard stories. I have not heard facts. I can't say that I've been there or seen anything.
No, but I mean,
I've heard stories.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people like to say it happens.
We talked about it
at my place.
Yeah.
Don't say your place. People
couple
will
of-
figure out
couple
that
of
you work at
times.
the lumberyard. Don't do that. So, hey, speaking of, I made that up, but guess what? Has there been shootings at the lumberyard? There actually has. So,
Been one at the other place too.
yeah, the other place. Yes. All right. Talk about EDC. What's that stand for?
So
you sound like Ernie now. Shane would say, guys, what does that stand for?
everyday
for
carry.
yeah.
Everyday carry.
All right.
So I just don't want to talk about EDC, but I read a good article.
Grant Cunningham.
Grant Cunningham. Yeah. So I think we got the link up there. So read that article, and I've kind of thought about this, and I don't know if you have or not, but you probably have. You start looking at contingencies, and we got plausibility principle under there, but
Sure.
really it's kind of the same thing. So when we talk about training, if you have a circle with every single thing that could possibly happen,
Red Dawn 5.
Red Dawn 5, right? That's the circle of possible, and inside that circle is another circle with things that are plausible based on your lifestyle. Like, do you ride in a car? Are you up at night? So you should maybe train in vehicles, or maybe you should train in low light or whatever. And then you have the smaller circle inside the plausible that's probable, like the most probable thing. Like, I'm probably going to need to engage this firearm, more than 2 arms distance, and blah, blah, blah. So
Probably happen where I work or
probably
at home.
happen where I work at home. So we need to train for those probable things.
Sure.
And then once we get good at those, we go out to the plausible things.
Yep.
So that's kind of where your everyday carry comes in. You're trying to think through what's plausible and what should I have to take care of the most plausible set of circumstances. And I've been guilty of this before. Sometimes I think we just try to cover too many contingencies and we get kind of crazy.
Really?
Like you're
Like,
running out
give
there
me-
with like
Give me an idea.
50 pounds of crap.
Oh.
So
yeah.
the guy that's got, and once again, I'll just say me, because I've actually done this before.
Okay.
2 guns, multiple knives, medical gear, magazines,
Yep.
friggin',
Did you wear a belt across your chest like Rambo?
No, never done that. It was all concealed, but I mean, literally, you start like doing what ifs and what ifs.
You
and
start
what
looking
ifs.
like a sheepdog.
Right, you start looking like a sheepdog. And I just kind of wanted to talk about your thoughts on where should we go with this everyday carry stuff.
Well, first of all, yeah, let's be realistic. Is how many people carry? Now, you and I have laughed together, and we'll say laugh, right? We're already offending people. Let's laugh. When I tell you I belong to these different Facebook groups, and they're like, "Here's my everyday carry. What do you guys carry?" And then you see exactly what you just saw. Here's a dude with like 2 flashlights, 3 knives, 2 guns, an extra mag. Though I love the ones where the extra mags had different ammo than was in the gun to start with. And I always snap, because you don't belong to some of those groups. So I took all those pictures and sent them to you and say, anybody got like a tourniquet? No. So if you had to leave your house with a gun or a tourniquet, what would you take?
So I have, right? Just if you go someplace where you can't carry a gun, I still carry. I still
didn't say
carry
you
medicals.
can't carry a gun. If you had to leave your house, if you could only have one of those items for the rest of your life.
Well, I was using that as an example. I'd probably still carry medical gear,
Yeah.
right?
So what, when you say, have I changed? Yeah. Way back when, like let's say the first 2 years I was in business, we'll talk about that, how long ago that was. But I would wear a gun and an extra magazine. A lot of time I'd wear an extra magazine, right? So because I don't really have to worry about hiding it, even though I don't wear my gun openly in my store, it's very rare. But I mean, I didn't have to worry about trying to hide all that stuff on me in my own store. But absolutely not. For years and years, if I carry a Glock 43, I will have extra magazines in my coat, right? If it's that kind of weather, I'll have extra I do have extra magazines like in every vehicle I own, right? So I have Glock 43 and Glock 19 magazines in like all our cars. So other than that, I carry 1 gun on me that has 1 magazine in it. And
Do you ever carry 2 guns because you don't want to carry magazines?
No.
I've done that before.
Yeah,
Like, I'll
well-
just carry 2 guns.
Hey, no, here you got a good point though. Here's something I have done before. I will carry an ankle gun, it's usually a revolver.
Right.
I will absolutely carry an ankle gun, and you can have some people will say this is ridiculous. It's not. It's our world of. So I go places with my family sometimes where my wife, who has a carry permit, her carry permit might not be honored, but I can, right? So, why not carry a buddy gun? And
Right,
so
sure.
when people
No,
are like,
that's a plausible thing.
Yeah.
Right. That to me,
Sure.
that's a plausible thing.
yep, I will absolutely take a gun off my holster and hand it to my wife if we're somewhere where she's not supposed to have a gun because they don't honor Iowa's permit. If I think I'm only going to hand you a gun if I think things are really bad and somebody's about to try to hurt us. Hell yeah, I'll take another set of eyes.
And that kind of
another.
goes with the extra magazine too. Plausible, right?
Yep.
Most shootings don't. They're over before a magazine is expended. But
Yep.
what if you have a malfunction or something like
Sure.
that? So it's probably not a bad idea to have.
It's one of the
extra
best
ammo.
reasons. I mean, really, it's the most legitimate reason to carry an extra magazine is, it's the more likely thing to fail, even though guns are reliable.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
But I think the
no,
point
I
I'm
don't
trying
carry
to-
pockets worth
Yeah.
of stuff anymore.
So when you carry multiple weapons, though, you got to start thinking about, and go back to training and plausibility. You have to start thinking about weapons retention.
Mm-hmm.
You have more than 1 gun. Now you have to worry about more than 1 gun. You have
Yep.
more than 1 knife. You have to worry about more than one knife, right?
Yep.
So you got to worry about retention and how am I going to keep somebody from taking this from me?
You can't have my bench made.
You can't have
Yeah.
my
Screw you,
Kershaw that I got
Kenny.
for $20.
Hey, yeah. You can have it if you'll run away. I'll give you my benchmate if you'll run away.
But I mean,
won't
that's another consideration. So that's a whole nother level of
Sure.
training. You probably need to okay, if I'm going to carry, well, even if you carry 1 gun, you should have retention training. But if you're going to carry 2, you should probably think about how am I going to retain these? What am I going to do?
And there's
When I'm
2
doing my backflips, how do I keep these in the holster?
And I will tell you two distinct, this is my opinion based off just real life experience, as in things I have observed with my own eyes. There's two types of people that carry multiple knives, multiple guns, multiple this, multiple that, in my experience. And that is some very highly trained people that are usually out serving in uniform.
Mm-hmm.
They want multiple knives that they can reach in multiple different situations.
And that's
right?
what I was going to ask you.
Very
Why
plausible.
do they do that?
Yep.
So they can get it with both hands.
Absolutely. So I would say there's some and even not just law enforcement, and I'm not knocking law enforcement, and I don't want to name names, but there are some people within law enforcement locally who highly train on their own time too.
Sure.
You know, very dedicated. And they're big fans of stabby things and all that. So there's that category. The other category of people I've seen that carry multiple guns, multiple knives, 2 flashlights, and all that, I would say are people I've actually just never seen, and it doesn't mean you had to be there when I was, or I taught it, or you taught it. I've never seen them get any training.
So
Like
they actually may be putting themselves in more danger
of providing lots of weapons for the guy
yeah,
that
I mean,
hit him in the head
potentially,
with a
right?
hammer.
We've talked about a lot of potential things that could happen, so we're just assuming. But
Potentially, hold on, we could get shut down and kicked off Facebook Live again.
yeah,
Right, Shane?
yeah,
If it happens again today, it's not a fluke.
a coincidence.
it's not
Yeah.
a coinky dink.
Coinky dink.
Yeah.
Don't.
So I mean, personally, I've and Matt mentioned too here in the comments here that I've scaled back, and the reason is a couple of reasons. A, it's more comfortable. B, I don't have to worry as much about retention. The more training I've got where you have to keep people from taking your stuff, the more I like it that it's harder for them to take it if I don't have as much stuff.
Yeah.
And then the third reason, is
You already forgot.
I lost my train of thought.
Dude, you're getting old.
I got Alzheimer's.
We gotta.
I got Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
No, the third reason is now I remember. The third reason is
squirrel.
squirrel.
And then all of a sudden,
Don't do it to him again, Ernie.
Yes.
You're right.
Poof, Ken Crawford shows up.
Ken,
Yes.
what's up,
Hi,
buddy?
Ken.
No, the third reason is I really want to get out of the mindset, and we've talked about it multiple times, where the firearm is a magic talisman, and that goes with, all right, so do I really need 2 knives to protect myself? No, I need the mindset to protect myself.
Mm-hmm.
But full disclosure, I do generally carry 2 knives, one for each side, left and right.
Yeah.
Right? But that's just because I think it's easier.
Yeah.
And knives aren't that big a deal.
And they're easy to hide.
They're easy to hide.
And you can, yeah.
Yeah. But the whole 50 rounds of ammo and 4 magazines and 2 guns, and I don't do that anymore. And in my active shooter class, I tell people there's 2 things I never leave the house without, no matter where I go.
A knife and a tourniquet?
Nope. Cell phone and flashlight.
Sure.
Cell phone and flashlight.
Yeah.
Medical would probably come after that, but I'll be honest, there's times that I can't carry medical stuff either. But you can improvise that stuff. You can't really improvise a flashlight, and you can't improvise a phone.
No.
So I always flashlight and phone.
Yeah. No, there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, look, Eric Sismedia and Christopher Smith joined us.
All right.
2 guys that are critical thinkers.
So I guess I just wanted to bring up, kind of read that article by Grant, talk about look at your EDC, and based on what your lifestyle is, am I carrying too much? Am I not carrying enough? I mean, we get the other way. Maybe we're too minimalist. If you're carrying a folding Swiss Army knife and you think you're going to, stab somebody with it, you should probably practice deploying that a few times, and then you might change your mind. So anyway,
There is such thing as overkill.
there is.
Is he going to check it off? I'm waiting to see it turn. This is kind of like drag racing, waiting for the little lights to go
Check
down
off
the tree.
2. I talked about 2 things.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You talked about plausibility.
Yeah, I did.
You're going to make him.
We're down with plausibility too?
I
Oh
did.
my gosh.
I talked about it already. Let's talk about your store, man.
Oh, boy. Really?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, there's one question about possibly your store. Do you guys have CCW insurance, and if so, what's the cost?
When we say do we have it, we promote. There's a link on our website you can click on and go read about USCCA. Absolutely.
What's USCCA?
Well,
Good job, Mikey.
Thanks. I'm getting better.
Yes.
32.
Well, it's Tim
Episodes
Schmidt's.
in.
It's Tim Schmidt's company. You should go learn about. So when I tell people, it's like, hey, what would you do? I just said, hey, I bought this myself. I don't work for them, but did I buy it? Yes. So I looked at they did a really good job when I called them. They actually have amazing organizational skills in customer service. So when I called them and they basically sit down and go through like, some people might be surprised when very early in the game they're going to be like, okay, what's your net worth? Like, what's your house worth? What's this worth? And some people are thinking, well, what's that mean? But the whole point is when you do look at insurance, you should look at how much insurance do I need based off of like what would I have to replace or what's at risk. So no, they were very thorough, and to me, it's worth having. Some people like to say those things. Like, oh, well, if you have insurance, it looks like you're planning on getting on a shooting now. And I get it.
You don't have car insurance and plan on getting in an accident.
I know. Some people get in accidents and don't have
got
car
life insurance. You don't plan on dying. Well,
Yeah.
Everybody does, but
Yeah. But, but it is that simple.
Right.
But they think it's weird when it involves, well, if I shot someone and I needed this or that assistance. And that's why I tell people, truly, generically, go check out all the things they cover. Because you look at like how much coverage they provide for like, hey, do you need to see a psychiatrist? Let alone like medical, like literally medical insurance / like, hey, what, would you maybe need to see a psychiatrist? Would you need some professional help in that way if you just had to shoot somebody? So
I don't think so.
Yeah. So it's back to, and I would encourage you to do that, especially if people say, no, I absolutely would never need that. Well, then you probably do need that. So, no, go look into it. The one, it cost me like $22 a month, whatever. People say, oh my God, that's a lot of money. You literally probably drink more than $22 a month, or it's one meal at Buffalo Wild Wings where you weren't supposed to be carrying your gun or whatever. So
they would ask you not to.
They would ask you to leave.
For the safety of the patrons.
Yes. So, you had to throw me off on insurance.
Sorry.
Yeah, way to go. So,
well, you guys were talking about your store.
Yeah.
Well,
You were
my
getting ready
store. What do you want to know about my store?
Well, happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, 17 years we've been open.
I'd sing, but I can't sing.
Question mark. Yeah, don't sing. Is it a happy anniversary? That's the question. Yeah, I don't know. It's been interesting. 17 years, and,
So
and
what's
that's
changed?
just
What's
that's
changed
just
in
CVO.
17?
I've
What
been,
has changed in 17 years, though? So
I changed.
Day one. All right. Talk about day one. Ernie, big bright future, blah blah blah, and today. What's changed?
Day one. My future's not bright. That changed. I had hope back then.
Man, you're like Debbie Downer.
I'm
today.
not Debbie
Come on.
Downer. You know what? When you said what's plausible, what's probable, what's possible. So I'm going to stick on, I've narrowed like my goals. So I'm not out to change the world, and I wasn't back then. I just want to sell guns. Hey, I want to open a gun store and sell guns to people.
So what made you? I'm gonna interview you here.
Yeah, let's do
practicing.
it. Bring it on. Because you got to interview Rob Pincus next week, or no, on the 13th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what made you decide to go into business for yourself, selling guns?
Because the places I worked before, which I won't name names, they didn't want to sell the guns that I wanted to sell, even though. Literally, they kind of had the mindset of, oh, well, our clientele, we don't want to sell those kind of firearms. So whether it was we don't sell guns with pistol grips on them or we don't sell those kind of scary-looking guns. Very narrow-minded, small-minded, whatever. But, hey, you know what? They gave me jobs in America, and I appreciate the jobs I had there. But I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go do this different. So, literally. It was kind of like one of those things where a previous guy said, if you can do better, go do it yourself. So I went and did it myself.
So you're like, I'll show you, buddy.
Yeah. And I had that attitude a little bit, as in like, I'm going to, but things are different. It's super, remember, I'm a bad business person because I actually tell people like the real truth. And what I mean by that is like, oh, I bet you're doing well. No, it sucks. There's not a lot of money in this industry. It's depressing, but that's okay. Here, the facts are, you look at like when I opened in 2001, you had, Taylor Guns, which I don't even know if you remember him, Scott Taylor. Taylor Guns was open.
Yeah.
He was the guy that sold, like, when I say my kind of guns, not mine, but, hey, you sell ARs, you sell Glocks, you sell pistol grip Benellis, you sell whatever. So you had Taylor Guns here. You had a lot less competition. And it's funny. I'm not whining. I just tell everybody. It's just like Amazon Prime, and everybody will say, look what Walmart's doing in the world. Look what Amazon Prime's doing in the world. Well, guns is one of the last few things. You can't buy it online, right? Like, when I say you can buy it online, you got to go pick it up in person at a gun
Right,
dealer.
you still got to go through an FFL.
That might shock some politicians and people out there that have, agendas.
Some Amber Gustafsons.
Yes, Amber.
Ridiculous person.
Amber. What if that guy doesn't have a permit?
What?
Yes. Yeah, get me going. So here's the deal. There's a lot more, you have Second Amendment guns, you got Midwest shooters, even if you just look up FFLs, there's just way more gun dealers in this area now. And that's all inevitably going to cut into it. So I'm not whining. It's actually awesome to have lots of guns being sold. I would like that to mean I see a record number of people training, which I don't somehow, but whatever. But it's changed from the point of view that I used to focus on just selling guns. And literally my life was probably, I'm going to say it was a lot easier back then. It was a lot easier because I didn't, I would say, get distracted by what I consider injustices, or this isn't right, or holy cow, look what these people are going through, or hey, wow, let's go over here and try to get teachers training, and oh, hey, these battered women that would come to you and say, I need training, and then you would just try to find them somebody to go to training, and all that now makes my life very busy, like 100 different directions.
So you would say, or maybe you would agree, that you start out like, hey, I'm just going to sell guns, and it turned you into more of an advocate because you've seen what your customers really needed?
Well, yeah, and what some of them are like. And there's, no, that's a very good way to put it. And that's one of those things that I'm literally in the middle of doing. I'm getting professional help too. I'm going to narrow what I do way down. So, maybe people say, what happened to that Ernie guy, or what about this? I just, I can't.
First off, I'm going to call BS on that because you'll never narrow anything down.
I will.
It's not your personality.
No, remember, I hired somebody else to do it.
Well, I know what you're saying,
See?
but I'm saying you're still. Let me rephrase that. Nobody's going to wonder where you're at because you're always going to be out there. One thing that I've admired about your store, and the reason I associate myself with you and promote you and send people your way, is because of the advocacy that you're not a used car salesman that's like,
No.
hey, look at this brand new shiny 1911 with pearl handle grips. Hey, did you know General Patton had one of these? And hey, you should buy this, right? You don't do that. Mm-hmm. You're very ethical in the way you sell people what you think they should have. Now, you'll sell people what they want, because we've talked about that before.
Yeah, but I didn't do a good enough job at that for the last 5 years.
I know, but...
So I have other people now that'll sell whatever you want.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not forcing things on people, or you don't sell things irresponsible. You don't have somebody walk in and, hey, you're a lady, you need a 5-shot revolver because they're easy to...
They're simple.
They're
They
simple
can't
to
go
operate,
wrong.
right? And we all know that the little snub-nosed revolver is probably one of the worst things.
And carry it in your purse.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you don't do that.
Yeah.
And then you're a very big advocate for training in general.
Sure.
I don't think there's anywhere...
Let's act like there's not people listening and 2,000 people won't watch this later.
I don't think there's anywhere around here that...
Why does it matter, though? Where does it get us? Let me ask you that curveball.
Well, you don't know what it gets you.
Yeah.
It's like a ripple in a pond, dude. It's like you throw a pebble in a pond.
Yeah.
Right? And it affects everything from the algae to the fish to the sand on the bottom at some level. And, you start talking about quantum particles, and aren't we all just part of one big force, right? But that's being crazy. But really, you don't know what it does, but it does something. Trust me. I've had multiple people that have come up to me over the last few years I've been associated with you saying, oh, you guys really helped me out.
Well, that's true, but you know what? It's funny you say that. Hey, one of my employees just sent me a thing to remind me, I need to send this to Shane. Here we go. Live like Memorex, I'm going to send this to Shane. And then Shane's going to put it up. I want to see if this is true. It's National Safe Day. Is that true? I'm going to copy and send this to Shane. I am listening. I'm still here.
No, I know. So anyway.
I can do 4 things at once.
Even just, we've talked about the podcast on where we're going with the podcast. And even
where will the podcast go?
I'm pointing out right now that in the comments section, we just had somebody said, thank you. We made them feel better about their everyday carry. So you're helping people.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. So I like where you're going, but I've never been like, here's the truth. I've had people, and we talked about this, like we had Amanda Brandt on the podcast, right?
Yep.
So, and I have met several people since, and there's one I still want to try to get on the podcast and squeeze like a show or 2 more out of Shane. I've had people that said, hey, I think this really changed my life. I think this really helped me, or it really did save their life, according to them. And it's never been about, hey, that's a cool gun you sold me. So I like guns. I don't want anybody to ever think I don't, but selling someone a firearm isn't anything I've done that ever changed their life. It was like training. I never got the warm, fuzzy feel back. Now, you sell people cool things, and they send you pictures and say, I shot a deer with that gun I sold you, or, hey, you set up my son's gun and sighted it in, and here's what he did with it. That's super cool, and I like that too. But I'm talking about, like, when you say it has a ripple effect of just like your training. So 6 people in a class for us is pretty small, isn't it? Truthfully.
Yeah, it was a little bit below average, but
Yeah.
it was good. This is basically the first open enrollment class of the year. We've done a
Sure.
few other ones that were like pre-planned.
Yeah. So 6
Because
people.
weather and stuff hasn't cooperated with us. But
Yep.
yeah.
And you and I, but we know this, like 6 people is 6 families.
Right.
And is it like, and how many people do they spend time? And one of them was in law enforcement, right?
I was just going to say, we had a law
Yep.
enforcement officer there,
Yep. So,
a couple, I mean, we did some good work there.
yeah, and so the point is and I don't know if it was Rob or who. I think Rob, I listened to that lecture one time when I was attending one of his classes. Is just the way to look at it of who are you really training when you're helping this person out? Who are they keeping safe? Because we meet people. I think Julie takes some people out training tomorrow, or maybe it was today and tomorrow actually. That was like, hey, I'm a mom or I'm this, and I need this gun because I'm in charge of the family security now, or this situation to where. When you think about it, you're training this one person, but who is it they're out protecting? Like, how big's that little bubble? So, like I said, I like training, but I also have to figure out if I'm trying to go too many different directions.
No, I mean, and I like the focus of the training that comes out of your store or that you promote. For the most part.
Some people would say you like it because I have you do it all.
But that's not the original intent.
No.
How did I meet you? I attended some classes.
Yeah, you were the other cool guy with gray hair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
you
were. For a while there, he used to think of me as that guy with gray hair.
Remember,
before
I
he knew
told
my
you
name.
there. Well, because I won't name the other one, but there's 2 of you that did a lot of training, and you both have grayish hair. And I just remember, hey, that's cool. And then, you were.
And then we got to talking, and then it turned out to be what it is.
We've
but
evolved a lot. I mean, really, if you just go backwards, like in the last, I'd say 6 years, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, I earned you as a customer, and we won't name names, but I will say I earned you as a customer because somebody else treated you like crap. So it worked out for me.
Yeah, they did. And
I see your 10th Mountain thing there. What have you done?
Yeah, exactly. So
Don't name names.
local business owners, don't be a dick to your customers because then you'll lose them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But I mean,
and just because you're in the military, and I wasn't. I'm just going to say, watching from the outside, just because you were in the military and went and did things, don't look at an old guy with gray hair that has a 10th Mount patch on and say, who gave you that?
Right. Or assume that they don't know what they're. So that's hard, right? Try not to do that. Don't assume what people have done. You don't know what they've done.
Yeah.
But going back to the training you guys offer or that we offer, I would rather teach 100 people that we had this weekend than, I mean, a lot of people like to go to these tactical classes and 3-gun matches and let's wear our plate carrier and do push-ups between drills and go around barriers and all this. That stuff's fun. But I think we affect more people's lives by teaching what we teach.
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, you teach carbine, which is good. That's awesome.
Yeah, but
That's
even
your-
the carbine class
but-
I teach is a fundamental level class.
Me personally, I only do certain things because it's like, hey, I'm good at teaching people how to use a handgun, and I think that'll be the most likely gun you have on you if you need a gun, even though it's rare to need a gun, right?
Right.
So, and then you teach everything else. Like, you're my medical dude.
But all those things are more, we're talking about plausibility. Those things are more plausible, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to go learn how to, do team tactics, then you probably shouldn't come to us. But if you want to learn how to defend yourself in the most likely set of circumstances, then come on and jump in a class, right?
Yeah.
So
We're getting way off. Where did we start?
You know
start
what?
off,
Why
how
was
about
I
your
just
store,
this?
man?
You know what? You talked about how you sounded a little down.
I'm not down.
Okay. Well, you
I'm
were
pretty damn chipper, actually.
You were kind of asking like
You sound like you called me an ass there for a minute. But go ahead.
what all
Hashtag.
should I be doing and what kind of an effect am I having on people? Well, just with this show, James puts in there CCW insurance. Never heard of it. Sounds like a great idea.
Well, James,
it's conversations like that.
Go to our website and click on USCCA there and read about it. So go to the CVO website and you'll see a little logo. It's like a little shield. Go click on it and read about it. Tell him Ernie sent you. No, and he drove all the way up from. He came to a carry class again. He didn't even need to. He came for the lecture because I don't think he originally got his from ours. So James drove a long way to come to class not too long ago to get the carry class. I just say the lecture, the learning. The opportunity. No, I wasn't down. I don't want you to think that. I'll smile. No, I spent all day walleye fishing yesterday. I'm happy.
The other thing that you brought up was your employees sent you National Safe Day.
Is it real?
It is real,
All
and
right.
this is how you can kind of look at it. How to observe.
Yeah.
Secure all firearms in the home. Ask questions about unsecure firearms in the homes of your child's friends and places they visit. Frequently talk to your children about the dangers of firearms. Educate and empower others to be safe, which you, my friend, have done and influenced
Yeah,
me.
we try that.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. It says it was what? Submitted by Brooklyn May Moeller Foundation. Be interesting to go read what that is. Because I definitely believe in safe firearm storage. You know, it might be like the only thing I have in common with, what's the name of that place? Mothers Who Demand Action. You know, after that, they spiral out of my world. So, you know, really you don't have to be pro-gun or anti-gun to agree that, hey, we should lock up things like meds and guns. You know what I mean? Like things that can harm people. We had that conversation. So I won't keep beating that horse, but yeah, lock up your guns before the government comes along and tells you how to do it. Because up in Seattle, I think, why don't you? Yeah, we'll throw that in at the end. I'll have you look up and see what is happening up there, where they're going to have the government come along and tell you how to lock your guns up.
So what's going on in Seattle? How should I search that?
Yeah, you search that. Just look up firearms safe storage laws in Seattle. So let's see what it's a proposed bill coming.
So from 2001 to 2017,
Sure, that's just Cedar Valley Outfitters.
Cedar
Yep.
Valley Outfitters has
Yep.
changed from. Now you tell me, no, Mike, you're way off track. But Cedar Valley Outfitters has changed from a, hey, we're a gun store that sells guns, to, hey, we're a establishment that advocates for safe storage, training, and yeah, we'll sell you a gun as well.
Really, you would call that a what kind of approach?
Holistic.
Yeah. So
I love that word.
and yeah, and so you're right. And like when I say that we're big enough, I mean we're not a big store, but I mean we're busy enough that I have to. That's where I say I have to get focused and go a direction of like, hey, are you and I busier than ever?
We're pretty busy. You asked me the other day, you're like, hey, we need to get busy. And I literally told you, dude,
Yeah.
outside of my regular job,
Yeah.
I'm booked until August. I don't have any other days to be busy.
No, I understand. And really, to clarify, I was like, we need to get busy because, like, we need to start looking at 2019. So we don't have a lot of days left that aren't booked this year.
Yeah,
so.
for most of the summer.
So we're going to keep going that way, and that needs to be my focus. And then I'll maybe be a part timer and help those other people run the store. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. You need to hire me as your director of training and build a big facility. And
Here's the article for
Yeah.
Seattle City
Global gym.
Officials.
Yes. There you
Proposed law requiring safe storage of guns.
Yeah, read it. It's really confusing, but yep, it really is confusing because it went on to talk about how if you have a loaded firearm that isn't stored properly, other than the one on your body, there's going to be this huge fine. And then it went on to say, but it only applies to guns that are, or it doesn't apply to guns that are legal. I'm like, what? I don't know. But it's just one more example of, first of all, has Seattle passed some crazy laws in the last 10 years, not even just about guns? Yes, they have. So go read about them. You know, whether
I'll leave the link to this
go ahead and leave the
article.
link up there. It's crazy. But I try to tell everybody, since I opened my store, what's changed too is like me, big time. You know, remember I used to be the guy that if you came into Cedar Valley Outfitters in 2001 or 2 or 3 or 4, even probably 5, I don't know, and said, I want a home defense gun, I want to buy a shotgun, I'd be like, awesome, here, let's set you up. Hey, you want a light on it? Great, let's do all that.
I need a flash suppressor with like pointy ends on it.
Yeah, you do. You have to stab people in the chest.
Yes, you do.
But, you know, and that changed too as I evolved. Like, you know, yeah, a shotgun, if you got other people in your house, probably isn't the best gun in the world, you know. Is it a great gun? Yeah. Can lots of people run them like a house fire? Yes. Do I want one to try to do any type of surgical work inside my house? No. Just things change.
Yeah, so if you're stagnant or whatever, then you're not using best practices. It's kind of the way I look at it, right? And then we just talked about EDC. I've changed the way I've done my EDC.
Me too.
Changed the way that I've thought about carry. Things change, and I'll probably continue to change, hopefully.
I have a picture of me somewhere. That's what I'll provide of in like 2002 or 3 in my store carrying a 1911.
That's all right, man.
Yeah.
Did you have your members only jacket on?
No members only jacket. I think I owned one though. I'm not
Everybody
sure.
owned one.
Yeah.
Like it was cool.
Yeah. But no, it's neat. You know what's crazy is I've been in business long enough. When you have like multiple customers that have passed away. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's sad.
Good guys, you know, and a lot of them were even before your time, as in you weren't a CVO guy then. You know what
I mean, I
Or-
moved here 2004.
Yeah, you know, and so, and if there are regulars out there, there's even a lot of regulars at CVO that when I say regulars, a lot of them are following right here that they weren't even around 3 or 4 years ago or 5 years ago, and definitely not 10 years ago. But, you know, if you ever look in this, if you're in the store, like you walk into the store, you turn left, go over toward like where the guns are, look up on the wall, you'll see, John Rink is there. He's one of our customers, and part of his last wishes to his wife is he has part of his remains are in a little fancy brass thing, and has a picture of his grandson holding a gun, which he bought that gun for his grandson, I think, before his grandson was born. John had passed away, but it's neat, you know. My good friend
That's
Andy,
in your store?
yeah,
That's pretty sweet,
Yeah,
man.
that
That's
was
pretty
part of
cool.
his. Yeah, his wife said this is what he wanted. So
That's pretty
Is
cool.
it over in this area right here?
what do you
This
where?
picture?
What, way back behind my bald head. He's
Way back.
actually on the wall, right? See that thing looks like a TV screen? Go left and up. That dark thing right up.
here?
That is a wooden shelf with John Rink on it. So his loving wife Annette did that for him, as in that was his request, and she followed it. So, but yeah, I mean, over time, I had a really good friend, Andy Hassick, passed away, and you know, Dick Mordaunt, Frank Beckwith, who worked at the DOC, Tim Canny. It's been a lot of. It's interesting, and then you meet a lot of people that are like, "Hey, their kids shop here now." Like, you know, I remember when you were 5, you can't buy a gun, you know, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm 35 now, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be that old, but you're
One of the-
25.
One of the funny things that happened in my store was we sold a gun to a guy who he came home for, and I don't want to get it wrong. So it was either because both the 133rd and like the 433rd are around here, aren't they?
I know the 133rd is for sure.
Yeah,
The
but-
National Guard unit.
Yeah. So they came home like 2011, 12ish. And I met a guy who he came in to pick up his gun, and I knew him, as in like I know this name. And then when I saw him, I'm like, wow, that's really him. And I never even knew he was in the military. And I'm like, hi, how you doing? Blah, blah. I haven't seen you in years, and this and that. And he's like, and I introduced my employees to him, like, hey, I've known this guy since he was little. He's like, yeah, I was your ring bearer at your wedding. And then I forgot. I'm like, you were? Yeah, the little kid he was the ring bearer at my wedding. And now he's buying guns at my store after he comes home from Afghanistan, you know, serving our country. So, yeah, it's weird to be in business that long.
So what you talked about a lot of your longtime customers that may or may not be with us, and how's the demographic of your customer base changed? Like just in general.
Well, still, you know, when I say not a lot, it has, as in, I would say more women shop there than, you know, by ratio. But that's not just like CVO or, hey, we're the great store to go to for the ladies. That's a thing that's growing nationwide anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're not getting more and more female buyers, you're doing something wrong. But because that's a nationwide, just naturally happening thing. So, but the demographic, you could still say, I bet you if you sat down and said, okay, we're going to say male, female, we're going to pick these races, we're going to pick these ages. Remember, just like we were talking with Emily, I would say the average person that buys guns at my store is some 35 to 65-year-old white guy, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, but it's definitely a wider variety of people that shop there now, which I think is awesome. But that's the thing is, in the beginning, it was like, hey, this guy shows up every week and he wants to buy a gun, or I know he likes trap guns, or I know he likes this. And it was just all about, I'm going to have these guns that these guys like. And that needed to continue more than it probably did. But that part isn't super fun for me anymore. And when I say super fun, I have to dedicate so much of my brain power, and we know how limited that is, in 20 different directions, to where I can't just focus on that. You know, and maybe that's where I told you. Maybe I just have Mike do all the training and I go back to running a gun store.
That's a thought.
It is
I don't
a
know if
thought.
I can handle that with my time commitments, but anyway.
You would have to get rid of like 2 of your 5 jobs.
Dude, it's hard. I love my job.
I know.
I really
I
do.
didn't say all your jobs, just 2 of your 5 jobs. And when you
So-
say I love my job, I'm not even going to ask you which one, because then the other ones are hurt. I mean, it's like saying this girl's the
In
prettiest.
general, I like the industry.
Okay. All right. I understand.
But, God, never mind. We're going to answer
Oh,
Eric's
hey, look at
questions.
this.
We're going to
We have a
answer
couple
Eric's questions here.
Hey, Eric,
So,
speaking.
so
yeah.
congratulations on your 17 years in business.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see if I make
Yeah,
it
it's
to
a
20.
congratulations.
Thank you very
I didn't say
much.
anything about the
Yeah.
wife
It
or
is a
something.
long time to be in the gun industry.
It is.
And it's funny because I've done this full time since 1997. Like I said, CVO has been open since June of 2001. And it is weird when you talk to people. I mean, some people, one of the favorite things I like to read about myself when people don't like me is how arrogant I am because I said this, and this about these guns. And I'm like, I've been doing this full time since 1997. I see gun buyers every day. I get to hear about things that don't work. I sell things that sometimes don't work, and I give people their money back. I'm on the line with students and see things work and not work, right? So it's like, really, I have, 21 years of experience in this industry, full time. Not like, and I'm not making fun of you. You teach part time, right? Like you teach guns part time.
Yeah, it's not my full-time job.
So, I
There's
literally
very few people that can make a living teaching self-defense stuff full-time.
yeah, it is very rare. I mean, most people, the Rob Pincuses of the world and stuff like that, that's a rarity. And he's a nomad to do it. I mean,
Right.
I'll be the first one. He wouldn't be offended that I say that's how you make a living out of it. Is he has to go where the training is needed.
Yep.
So you have to go nationwide if you want to make a living out of it. But running a gun store gives you certain insight. And I always tell everybody it's this generic. Just like in a lot of training, we like to make things not about guns. We'll use different analogies. I'm like a car mechanic, dude. Like, even though I'm not a gunsmith, I'm like a car mechanic as in I'm going to see what comes in to get fixed and what doesn't, right? What are people happy with? And so I try to keep it, in perspective when I tell people that you're mad at me because you asked me my opinion. You didn't say, I want to buy this gun, sell it to me. Because now, what's my answer? I'll sell it to you. I got sales staff that'll sell it to you. Good for you. But if you say, I want to buy this gun, and you're looking at it and you say, what do you think of this gun over here? Well, now you just asked me for my opinion. And sometimes people don't like you to be truthful, right?
Right. They don't really want your opinion. They want you to agree with their opinion.
Yep. And what's interesting about that, you ready? 17 years after owning a gun store, 20 years of being in business, 21 of being in this industry. The gun world that likes to call their people snowflakes and say you just don't want to hear the truth and you don't like it, they get butthurt just as easy as everybody else when you tell them what they don't want to hear.
People are people?
Yeah,
What?
people are people.
Wow.
Regardless of what club they're in. So that's also, I was thinking about if you would ambush me this morning, and you did about this anniversary thing, but as in like, not really ambush. But here's the deal is, somebody would say, well, that guy sounds like he's complaining about this and this and this and this. You know how many memes are on Facebook of people making fun of customers in their job or how burned out they are on it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How many of those can you find?
Yeah.
Or talking about customer service or retail.
Yeah, or just in general.
Or this is what it's like to be a server. Everybody has their industry jokes, right? So, I can find things super irritating. Like, guys that want to talk to me for literally 45 minutes about a 1911 and would you buy a Les Bear and is a Rock River really worth it? And then they literally say, well, I'm just going to go with that Regent Arms, or I want some other arms core made in the Philippines for $5.99. Like, then why do we spend 45 minutes talking about $2,000 handguns, right? So when I say that's a waste of my time, if people are offended by that, what I mean is just, if I go shopping for something personally, I don't go look at $40,000 trucks when I need a $10,000 truck. You know what I mean? I literally go look at the $10,000 trucks.
Right.
So, but there's a lot of that. And I don't know. I have salespeople that can do that now.
And in a way, that's good. I mean, if your store is, and I've seen it, your store is kind of a place people like to go hang out.
It's the
Right.
cheers to the gun world.
Yeah, it's the cheers of the guns world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yes.
is. It really is.
Yes.
You got that little counter there.
Yeah.
I've sat on those stools.
I know.
I've sat on the stools.
I'm going to start saying Norm when you walk in.
Yeah,
Norm. Yep.
That would make a great CVO T-shirt.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, I've already been called that lots. Like that used to be a thing a couple years ago, and everybody pushed for that. And I could just make it. We'll go for it and see is Ted Danson going to get mad if we use the C from Cheers or what?
Here's.
Woody Harrelson.
Is this what?
Yeah.
Is this what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the stools. That
Where are you finding
stood on
pictures
and-
of us? That's awesome.
Well, I
Hey.
just typed your name into Google.
That's funny,
son.
and that's what comes up. I bet
Well,
you that
there's a
lady,
lot. There's
that
a
lady
lot.
has a gun in her purse. So anyway, yeah, things change.
So congratulations. Let's
Well,
answer
thank
some
you.
questions.
We're gonna have it. Yeah, we're gonna have a 17th year anniversary celebration that starts here pretty soon. There'll be details of that coming out soon. We'll have some sales and some cool new T-shirts. Maybe people see some new things, and maybe I'll dance a jig. I don't know. But when I do, I won't wear my gun.
Do you know how to do a jig?
Oh, I might impress you.
All right.
So-
Little river dancing.
Oh, yes.
The chicken dance.
Yeah.
So
Let's check some things
Eric's
off.
got a legit question here.
Okay.
Speaking of lights, because we did at one point talk about lights.
Oh, look at that.
Do you suggest having one mounted On the gun or handheld?
Handheld.
Yep. So he says, I like handheld better because in the home I don't want to use my gun as a light.
True.
There, you just answered your own question.
Yes. I mean, he's really just trying to ask us for our opinion.
Right,
When
he's
really,
just- he's
Eric already
leading.
knows.
He's leading. Yeah.
Eric's one of those guys that I'm going to make Ernie and Mike think it's their idea, so they're on board with it. He's that smart.
Yeah, exactly.
Eric, actually,
shed,
by the way.
Eric.
Yes, you build a shed all week. I saw it. You get up at 4:30 and work out, which makes me question your mental status. And and you need to be here learning how to run the podcast with Shane, which Eric's now going to say, I didn't know there was a podcast till last night at 10 o'clock, which is the same time my employees found out that I wouldn't be there, which is why I had to have
Even though we decided to have the show like a week ago.
I know.
Anyway,
And
so
our next show is on the 13th.
13th with
yes.
Rob Pincus
So-
at 9:30 to 11:30, or for you military guys, that's
9:30 to 11:30.
Yeah.
I like it. Yep. Yeah,
But anyway, handheld lights are better. Why?
well, that way you could maybe look around with your hand. You know, like you said, if it's possible, why don't you move around your house with your gun, as in, like, let's say, when I say staged, as in it's in a holster, maybe you have your hand on it and you're looking around with your flashlight. Like, let's not point a gun at our loved one, right?
Right. So you don't. I mean, bottom line, you don't want to use your weapon-mounted light as the primary light.
Sure.
Weapon-mounted lights are probably secondary, target identification lights.
do I
not
have-
searching lights, right?
Do you have a light on your gun at home?
I do. My home defense gun.
I do too, but I still pick up another light.
Absolutely.
Which, by the way, because I think Eric also texted me privately to make it sound like my idea, is why not have a light with a lantern so you don't drop it, right?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
He didn't really say that, but I knew he was thinking it, and he probably owns one that way.
My flashlight on my bed.
Which, by the way, we sell those at that store called Cedar Valley Outfitters.
Yeah, right. So, like I said, I always leave. At the very least, I leave home with a flashlight and a cell phone. Mm-hmm. I on the bedstand table. I got not a huge mag light type flash. I got a pretty substantial flashlight with a lanyard.
Yeah.
Right next to the phone on the bedside table. You know, right next to the gun safe, the little quick access safe. So it's all right there, right? But I do have a weapon mounted light.
So Ian has a good question. See, remember I said I don't do, let's see here. Why don't you do layaway? Here's the real facts why I don't do layaway. Is on a new gun, you make about 7 to 11% margin, and you're going to swipe it with a credit card, and I lose 2%, and there's so little industry or so little money in it, and I don't have all the money in the world, so I don't tie up a bunch of money with a bunch of guns sitting in back that aren't really paid for. That, by the way, Ian, I had to pay up front for them when I ordered them. So, you know, that's something we used to do in the past, and then it just, like, wasn't worth it. You have these people that come along and they sign a piece of paper that say, hey, I'm putting 20% down, but I don't expect my money back if I never come back and make another payment. But then they can't afford it, and they come back and they tell you I got a flat tire, or my girlfriend's pregnant, or my wife and my girlfriend are both pregnant, and I want my 20% back. What do you do? So that's a very good question, Ian, and maybe we'll address that someday. But for right now, I operate only off the money we make because I don't want to owe anybody anything. So we don't do layaway.
Right. So that's
what
a very
credit
good
cards
point,
are for.
right? That's a business decision.
It's literally what credit cards are for.
right.
Yeah.
It
It's
is
a business decision. Yeah,
It is layaway.
it is.
I have to take a training time out here and answer my very persistent wife. Sophie's not here. She will not slap our dog.
Where?
There.
Who's
I
worried
answered
about
your question.
Who worried about Sophie? Your wife?
You know who.
Your wife.
Yeah.
Oh. I think I should just give Sophie to your wife.
No.
Sophie should go into your house. She would
No.
wreak havoc in your home. Sophie would show up and think she was the boss. And you already have a dog that thinks she's the boss.
Right? It's
Yeah.
a female thing.
Oh, yeah. And so, yep, it would be like Deathmatch 2000. So,
2000 celebrity deathmatch.
yep. We'll have that live on the podcast. We'll just put them together right here.
Little claymation.
Yep, we'll put them together in a closed basket right here, filled with biscuits.
So I taught my dog, see, parenting win.
Okay.
I taught my dog that ice cubes are treats.
Yes.
Win-win.
Yes.
I don't have to pay for treats. She loves ice cubes. It's great. She hydrates.
Is that maybe the best thing you've done this month?
Yeah, it is. I
Yeah.
taught my dog that ice cubes are treats.
Learn that from Mike. He'll be holding a class on that at Cedar Valley Outfitters on the 18th.
Yes.
Yes, how to teach your dog.
So
there-
Matt said that he now uses EDC, so his everyday carry is his home defense too. So good technique if you get limited resources or whatever,
Yeah.
or you just want to use the same gun and be familiar with it.
No, you mean
Right.
Like, yeah.
So some things to consider though is if possible you want a larger or heavier handgun for your home defense weapon in general.
Like a mid-size or full-size with lots
Right.
of bullets?
And then, we have to worry about concealability and stuff when we're carrying. So that might not work for everybody. Doesn't work for me because I can't conceal a handgun large enough You know, I can have a larger handgun in my safe than I can conceal.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it doesn't work. But I mean, it's a very good technique if that's the way you want to go.
Yeah. So Ian's a good guy, Matt's a good guy, but I think Matt is also answering Ian saying, why don't you just put $100 away for each week and then spend the money all at once? That's called fiscal responsibility.
Fiscal responsibility.
We all struggle with that in America.
We do.
But we need to do better.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What else do you want to talk about?
So we talked about your store. Let's talk
Yes.
about ways to make training affordable because we've been talking about
You tell
training.
me how to make.
So hold on a minute.
Wait, you could put your training on layaway.
You could.
Yeah.
You could have coupons. Coupons.
Coupons.
You can have
Yes.
coupons. No, I want to bring up this.
Do it. Bring something up.
I want to bring up the.
Unless it's your breakfast. Don't bring that up.
So our friend Blair up at Short Barrel Shepherd, we posted a link. Now I'm going to have to find the link.
He's like the karate guy, right? Isn't he into martial arts too?
He does jujitsu.
Oh, there you go.
He's very much into short barreled rifles. That's why he calls himself.
Sure.
But he does a lot of training, hosts a lot of training. But he wrote a pretty good article on how to make training affordable for people that want to prioritize. And we kind of talked about the class the other day. You should probably take 1 or 2 classes a year, and then in the interim, just train on the stuff that you need to kind of shore up. But he talks about how to make training affordable, and I want to point people towards his article, but then kind of go through it. So he went to a class with he and his wife, and he kept track of it, all the money it cost him, and this class cost him almost $2,000 total with gas, lodging, tuition for 2 people, ammunition. So he's like, how can I make these things more affordable? So number 1, he talks about prioritization. So you need to prioritize, and that's kind of what I was talking about, the training you want to get. And then you go back to that plausibility principle.
Sure.
Personally, I spent a lot of time handgun training.
Sure.
Right? A lot of time handgun training. I'm at the point now myself, and I'm not saying I don't need it because a lot of people would say that I'm not,
You're not the best shooter
I'm
I've
not
ever
the best
seen.
shooter you've ever seen. And I feel I'm at a level that I can do what I need to do, right? So I need to start getting a little bit farther in that plausibility bubble. I've been doing a lot more grappling because I think that's way more likely that I'm going to have to engage somebody from 0 to 2 to 5 feet than farther out. I've been doing a lot of managing unknown contacts. I've been doing a lot of edged weapon stuff. So I'm getting more into that outer limits of what may or may not happen. So everybody's got to prioritize based on their own life what they want to go to first. So instead of paying for that fantasy camp, maybe you just learn how to shoot.
Sure.
So that's one way to save some money. And then as part of that, you need to prioritize what you're spending your money on. So Blair talks about he pledged not to buy any more gear for a year. And we're all guilty of that.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Hey, that's a cool, red dot, but I've already got 3. Well, I need that one, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you don't buy that new holster and you save that money for training.
Sure.
So that'll make
No,
a
the
little bit
FBI
more
guy
affordable,
needs
right?
to buy a new holster.
He needs to buy a new holster.
Yeah, and he needs to get some training.
So another technique that he kind of puts out there, and you do this, right? And it may not be possible for everybody, but it's just something to consider, kind of a general idea, like host a course.
Yeah.
If you host a course, you can sometimes get some free slots. Or
You host me and you'll get some free slots.
Or some reduced cost slots, right?
Sure.
So if you have the facilities or the time or whatever, and you can't get any training, and that's another kind of going back. That's kind of how I got hooked up with you too, right?
Because I bring people here.
Well, because you did. Because I wanted to take combat focused shooting back in the day.
Yeah.
And
Northland Fish and Game was actually the official people to do it first in 2008.
Right. So I did a lot of research and I looked around and I found an active instructor. It wasn't Rob. It was a guy that's not even active anymore, but at the time he was. He's from the Des Moines area. I tried to host him. I couldn't find a range to do it at.
Yeah.
So it ended up fizzling out and not happening. But he was going to give me, he goes, hey, if you get, eight people, you can go for free.
Yep.
So I was really trying to make that happen, and then it didn't happen, and I ended up finding your store, and so the rest is history. But hosting
Went
a class,
downhill from there,
right?
didn't it?
Went downhill from there.
Yeah.
So
Next thing you know, we're changing the rain patterns.
hosting a class might be a way you could save some money.
Yes, you could. Sure.
And yes, you can
could-
host us.
Yes.
Host us.
You can host us,
Host us.
and get your own training paid for.
I travel.
Yeah.
I can travel.
I have a car.
I have a car. I travel all the time. Another way you can kind of save money is what he's calling bulk up. So buy classes in bulk. You may be able to talk to whoever is hosting the training or conducting the training. Like, hey, I'll buy 3 classes and maybe I get a reduced rate. I do that. I call kind of prorate or whatever, where if you've got 15 people, you get a better price per person than you do
we've done
for,
that,
like, yeah.
and I'm not. I don't speak for your. I tell that anybody that's ever contacted me about like active shooter stuff. Here's my generic answer. Here's how much it costs. And then they're like, well, I have 40 teachers. I'm like, okay, well, we're going to talk to Mike, and he's going to work something out with you, but I can't speak for Mike. I just know that you do it, especially when you start talking about teachers. You have a soft spot for them, too.
Yes, I do. My mom and my sister.
Yes. So the point is, it's like, yeah, if you're going to get me this many people, then we look at what it costs per person. Sure.
Yeah, so, I mean, kind of the
it's the gun world. Everybody expects you to haggle.
right? You
Yeah.
got to haggle.
Haggle.
So another way you can kind of
Sometimes you also just have to pay what it costs to go.
and that's what I'm coming up to next, though. But you can still be a good consumer and try to get, and he calls it advanced level prices for basic instruction. So that goes back to like know your instructor or look at. So I struggle with this. Like, am I charging enough for what I'm putting out? Because I think we put out a good product and we give a lot of information, and sometimes I don't think I charge enough.
That happens.
But on the other hand, he's saying look around and you can probably get some good quality training with some local instructors.
Sure.
Rather than paying these huge prices and having to travel.
Especially traveling. That's
right.
the kicker.
Yeah.
You know?
So look around your area, try to find, definitely come see us.
You're leading up to where you teach what used to be known as combat focused shooting with a handgun, right? And you teach what used to be called combat focused carbine. Now it's IDS and IDC, right?
Intuitive defensive shooting and intuitive defensive carbine.
There you go. So my point being is, so you teach those classes, and oh my God, you even make money because you went and spent a whole bunch of money and time and effort to get it certified to do that, right? So good for you. You deserve the money. Would you still tell people to take advantage of going and training with Rob Pincus at Northland Fishing Game?
I was just going to say that. So he didn't mention this, but look for national level instructors that are being hosted in your area.
Yeah.
We got Rob Pincus, or you got Rob Pincus coming for 2 days.
Yeah. People don't, and again.
You don't have to travel, or you can stay in your own bed.
And here's the thing is, it's okay when everybody's like, you just want me to go so you can make money. It's Rob Pincus. It's the PDN tour. I'm not making money. You're paying Rob Pincus.
Yeah.
But
You're just hosting.
Yeah. It's one of those things like you said to where, if you're going to travel, and people, Front Sight, Gun Sight, Thunder Ranch, all those, Thunder Ranch looks very fun to me. But the point is, you still have to say, okay, the class is this much. And then you're going to go stay 2 days, 5 days in a hotel, whatever, and you're going to travel. So that's when people talk about, and so I say, man, hey, Rob Pincus is going to be in Central City. Where do you live in Iowa that you can't drive to Central City and back in one day? You know what I mean? You'd have to be living pretty far
Council
away.
Bluffs or something, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
And then if you got a buddy going with you, you can, buddy drive. So it's affordable. People should take advantage of it. But I agree with you. There was a lack of, bigger or nationally known names coming here. But there is almost in every state great local people if you just know where to find them.
Yeah, and that's another way the great local instructors, and we know quite a few. And then the other kind of way he's talking about saving money is, and we've talked about this, and we probably need to get off our butt and do this at some point, but training groups, right? So there's a lot of training groups out there. So a lot of Facebook pages for alumni. There's a combat focused shooting alumni page. There's a, ShivWorks alumni page. Like, you've been to this training.
Yeah.
Now you guys can get together as a group and kind of do either formal or informal training sessions.
Sure.
And shore up this knowledge. So that doesn't cost you any more than maybe some gas and the cost of the ammo or whatever.
Yep.
You just go to the range and say, hey, we're going to run these drills that we all did in class and just critique each other. And
we have some of those coming up this August that I haven't even asked you about when I say, Mike, do you have this evening off?
Yeah,
do you have that evening off?
But look for training groups that you can go to and kind of participate in, maximize your training value, and then some of the other things he talks about is taking notes and videos so you can go back and maximize your training. So these are all different ways that you can get the best bang for your buck, make training affordable.
And he does a lot of training, as in like he's attended a lot of things.
They attend a lot of training. He and his wife
Yep.
both attend a lot of training, and they also host a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They're great people. But I just like this article he wrote was very
Sure.
pragmatic. I think it's very good. And so for people that say, hey, I don't have the money to do that, I say, look at your priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Pick a class. Start off with a class. Go to one. Go to one of ours. Go to somebody else's. It doesn't matter. Go to a class.
No, go to ours.
Yeah, we'll go to ours. Okay.
Okay.
Go to ours. Go to
It's
ours.
okay to ask for business. It's
Okay.
okay to tell people you're good
Is it
at what
okay?
you do.
Give myself permission to
Yes,
ask for
give
business.
yourself permission.
So come to our class, get some training, practice, maybe come to another class later. That's how you can get affordable training. It's not as hard as you think it is.
Yeah, and a lot of misconceptions people have, me included, when I started, when you say, hey, what's changed? One of the misconceptions people have is it isn't like come to Mike's class and you're good to go. Really, it's, and I don't want to say glorified, to make it simple, coming to class will make you aware of the value of different kinds of drills, especially when it's explained to you why they're important and how do they apply to the real world. Really, all we're doing is we're sending you home with the piano lessons you need to practice, right? Like, go home and practice this.
It's a good way to put it.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Don't be Ernie that goes to the gym and stares at all the equipment and doesn't know what he's doing. So, like, go somewhere and have, like, hey, don't laugh. I look cool when I do it. That's all you got to do is look cool. You told me that.
If you have a towel
Yeah, no.
And a water
those
bottle.
big Beats headphones,
You don't need a towel if you don't ever sweat. But you do got to have
but
it
you
around
gotta
your
have a
neck.
towel, man.
Yeah. That's gym
Hitchhiker's
etiquette.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy taught us that.
Yes.
That's the
Hey,
other EDC you always need. Cell
Shane is
phone,
always going to point out.
flashlight, and towel.
Yeah, look cool.
Yeah, and look cool.
I want to go back to Jay. Jay has a question. Do you carry while you're inside your home or just have a firearm stage? My wife thinks I'm crazy to carry inside the house. So, I don't know, Jay. You might be crazy, but I don't think your concept of carrying a gun inside your house on your body is weird. I do it all the time. It's back to where, and again, there's something that changed. Maybe 10 years ago, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago I would. But there was a point where when I carried a gun, when I got home, I took it off, didn't worry about it. And it's not, I'm not going to take it in the shower with me, though I've done that, because that's where horror movies start. It's when you're in the shower, right?
Yeah.
When I had
It's true.
hair and you got shampoo in your hair, that's when the bad guys are coming, when your eyes are closed. Everyone watching knows that feeling. But yeah, I wear my gun around my house. We just talk about, go look at any FBI statistics you want to. Go back, whatever. I think the newest complete year is 2015. How often does the violence happen at home or, in let alone places we know like work or whatever. But let's say just home. So when you have a place that most, is one of the greatest ratios there is how much violence happens home, why would I want to have my gun on me? So it's just my opinion. But don't just take it off and leave it on the counter. Take it off and put it in a safe. Store it properly when you get it off, whatever. But, yeah. Do you ever wear a gun around your own house or not?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
It's not weird. It's really not weird. Do I grill chicken with it on? Yep. That's the thing is you're out back with your family and you're grilling chicken.
My thought on that is talk about the safe storage thing that it should be on you or in the safe.
Sure.
That's the way I kind of think about
That's the
it.
two places it would be safe at. Yeah. And I know some people will be like, well, I'm 24 years old and I live alone, so I have mine on a magnet inside. Well, that's fine. If you never have anybody else inside your house, cool. But my house, definitely people come and go. Like some of them I didn't even know were there.
I
So,
got tile-eating dogs and everything else.
yeah, your dogs actually would definitely eat a pistol grip.
Yep.
They would love a polymer pistol.
Yeah.
That damn Tupperware pistol, they would chew that up,
Chew
wouldn't
it
they?
up.
Yeah.
Hey, back to training really quick. One
Okay.
question. You guys brought up video.
Videos.
Yes.
Asking your instructors if it's okay to video the training that's going on that day. How do you guys feel about that for your training?
I don't mind if people video, but I would ask them not to post it on Facebook or whatever without asking first, right?
Yeah.
Not that we're trying to hide anything, but if you don't have the context, sometimes things can look, I'll just use the word bad, right? So you gotta watch what's put out there.
Sure.
I know a couple people that
They
did
posted.
you guys hear that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we heard a
My
lot of
stomach
it.
just my stomach
Yeah.
just anyway.
You're not going to have an alien shoot out of you right now,
I
are
should have
you?
ate breakfast before I came here.
Because I am carrying. And
Anyway,
I don't want to put bullets in
I
my
know
leg.
a couple instructors that I am involved with that don't allow
Yeah.
video. They're very they really screen what's put out there because they don't want the wrong thing.
But have you
Sure.
seen things posted that were completely out of context that make that particular instructor look crazy at the time?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the issue is, again, when people say, oh, you won't let you record it, then you almost literally don't know all the famous stories of it. You can take a certain drill and with no context or nobody know what's going on, make it look bad.
Yeah. So you got to
So-
watch that. So I guess a lot.
Really, you should just come to training.
Yeah, you should come to training, and I don't mind if you video it. But, I mean, even Blair, he says video, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you from personal experience, he has videoed me in training, but he has also put out, hey, do not post this on Facebook or anywhere else without getting permission from the instructor and everybody you videoed.
Yeah.
He's
Right.
very adamant about that,
Yeah.
right? So
Because-
you can't just do it willy-nilly.
Sure.
But if you're using it as a training aid for yourself,
Yes.
you videotaped it, you want to remember exactly what the instructor had said and maybe what the drill was like, you're for that.
Yeah, it's a good feedback
Also,
tool.
you
Yeah.
videotape yourself doing those drills later.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have no training partner.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Well, any other legitimate questions? And I mean,
I'm looking
legitimate
through
as in
here.
like you should jump in and answer them now.
Looking
20
through here.
people. You got your 2 listeners back, even though you're a wimp. You're
I
not a
am a wimp.
badass.
Not
And what else
badass.
did you say offensive? Something about, I don't know.
Eric, I agree with you. BJJ is a must.
You said
My
that
opinion,
even
too.
even gun owners can be snowflakes.
Yes.
Gun owners, lots of gun owners are snowflakes. And the thing is the word snowflake that's not a thing. So, it goes both ways. They're human. They're like any other group of bikers or runners or, hey, we like tennis or whatever. There's people within that group that don't like each other and bash each other, and it's not all united.
So now I'm gonna make some other people mad.
Do it.
So you asked me because
Let's see.
it's not up here in our checklist, but
This could be our second to last show. Let's try to make the whole world mad before we get off.
yeah. So I volunteered at the Iowa Firearms Coalition
Okay.
table at the
Yes.
gun show last Friday.
Thank you for doing
I didn't say that to get thanks, but you're welcome.
that. Yeah. No,
You're welcome for my service.
I tell everybody all the time to go get involved with them, and you
But
did.
that's anybody. I will put that out there. They need volunteers. Iowa Firearms Coalition is all volunteer. All right, they don't have a lot of paid staff or anything like that. It's all volunteer. That's one thing that kind of differentiates them from a lot of other organizations. And the other thing is, you can really affect things on a local level here in Iowa.
Sure.
So help them out, donate them some money, go volunteer. They got a gun show in September that they need volunteers at the table. It's really low stress. I was there for a few hours talking to people, handing out applications. Good time. So that was a positive experience. However, I want to talk about some of the things that happened at the gun show.
Like when you walked around there, what'd you see?
So I saw a lot of guns, which is why people were there. But I also saw a lot of, I'm going to say buffoonery, right? And I'm not saying everybody, but there was enough of it that I thought we should talk about it and just say we need to do better, right? I will give an example of unsafe gun handling, right? And you've said this before, like if you want to get flagged by a gun, just work in the gun industry.
Yeah.
I saw more fingers on triggers, and I actually saw and I'm not going to name the store, but there was somebody from a store locally.
A vendor. There was a vendor set up.
Vendor. It's a good way to say it. Vendor that was showing a firearm to a customer and had the muzzle of the assumably empty gun, but I would still never do this, pointed at their own palm. Like, not just like flagged it, but like it was resting in their palm.
Like, I'm going to make a point to you.
Yeah, like I'm pushing this muzzle into my palm.
Yeah.
How did it look, Mike?
So
How did it look?
Like
Did
this.
it look like that?
There we go.
Okay. All right.
So stuff like that, we need to do better. If we're ever going to get the general public to quit thinking of gun owners as this fringe element and bunch of Elmer Fuds and like not the mainstream, we need to do better. And that starts by education, right?
Sure.
So people don't know what they don't know. And I'm not saying they're bad people. Those people that are putting their fingers on the trigger, maybe they just need to take a gun safety class.
Yeah.
And they won't do it anymore. Because people don't. I always used to tell my employees when I used to manage quite a few employees, and they would bitch about each other. I'm like, look, hey, man, nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to be shitty at life. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to do a bad job.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to do a good job, some people just aren't very good at doing a good job. So they need to be taught or mentored, and at some point maybe they're just not capable of it. But we need to educate those people. And that goes back to that ripple in the pond thing. The more people you educate, they'll
Sure.
educate some people. And then maybe someday in Fantasy Mike World, you can go to the gun show and people won't point guns at each other.
That would be a huge step.
Yeah.
Huge step.
So Matt says, I will volunteer for this September show. Buddy, I already volunteered. So yes, I am in. And if
He
you
can
want
help too.
Yep. And if you
There
want to
could be two
know,
of
if
you.
you want to know who to volunteer with, just get a hold of me and I'll get you in touch with the
Chad
dude.
Wagner joined us. That guy's a slacker. He must have a great daytime
Yep.
job. He can listen to us. Or he works at my store part-time. So
Welcome,
Chad.
There was a comment earlier by James. What is ironic to me is you see there are people out there that have multiple guns with multiple accessories who have spent thousands on ammo and firearms, but have little to nothing spent on training
Or a gun safe.
or a gun
Yeah,
safe.
so I don't feel bad for either of them. So, hey, let's go back. Let's rewind. And you say,
Prioritization.
what's changed for Ernie in the last 17 years is, I don't feel bad when you don't manage your money well enough, especially your gun money, to what you should do with it. If you can't afford training but you own 6 guns, then you're not doing it right, right?
Right. No, I agree.
If you own 10 guns, you can't afford a safe, then sell 2 of them and get a safe. So it's funny. And gun people are happy to tell other people how they should live their life. Is that true or not? When I say gun people, I'm not going to make them all out to be the same, but is there a large category of people that follow the same groups we do?
People are people, and there's a lot of people.
People are people.
There's a lot of people out there that say, don't tell me what to do, but then they try to tell other people what to do.
Yep. I believe in my rights, but here. So it's just one of those things. So, yes. If you can afford 5 guns, you can afford a gun safe. If you can afford 5 guns, you can afford training. It just flat out isn't that important to you if you don't go do it. That's the real truth. However, I have had somebody made a valid point to me recently who has trained with us, who said, hey, if you would do more 2-hour classes, I will come to a lot more of them because then it's just 2 hours, like in an evening. So, by the way, I'm gonna throw a bunch of those dates at you too here soon.
All right, buddy.
So, surprise, we're gonna do more. So when you said you had that day off, see, I'm just taking a day you're already working and making you work more.
Yeah.
It'll work out. So we'll have some 2-hour classes, and you'll help me with them. You just don't know what they are yet, but you're good. Chad says to be quiet, so I won't talk about Chad anymore. Chad. All right, so what else do you have? Do you have to click off all your things?
I think we're done.
No,
done
I
with
was
the clickable-
literally,
clickable
we
links.
did our whole list.
Yeah,
we
That's
did.
awesome.
We did the entire.
How much time are
list.
you going to give me left to talk?
How much time do you want?
I don't know.
You got 8
Is there
minutes,
some?
dude.
Yeah, you have 8 minutes for
8
the
minutes.
2-hour show.
We have only 8 hours left, or 8 minutes left of 2 hours.
Now you
Yeah.
got 7
That went really
hours and
fast.
9 seconds.
Is there? I pulled
Let's
up
talk
the
about
Facebook
classes,
page.
but go ahead.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was just gonna say that. I
No.
pulled up your Facebook page and events. Are these
Okay,
the most?
careful. Let's see. Some of them are all sold out. Like June 9th, sold out. If you're going to bring that up. I don't know. I can't see what you're doing over there. Permit to carry, there's always room. Casualty care, as in July 8th,
July
that has
8th,
openings.
Not sold out.
Okay.
Carry classes are always openings this time of year. They never fill up all the way in summer because people are out doing things, and I don't blame them. So there's always room in carry class this time of year. We'll always make room for you.
What are some other events that are coming up that might not be on here?
Well, Rob Pincus, June 13th. Well, yeah, let's talk about some things. Hey, thanks for reminding me, Brain in the corner. He's like the Brain. Remember the Brain in the?
Yeah.
Never mind.
Pinky
So,
and the brain.
Yeah. So here's some things we have going on. Rob Pincus is going to be here teaching a handgun class on the 12th of June.
Intuitive defensive shooting.
He's here teaching carbine on the 14th of June.
Intuitive defensive carbine. So the 12th and the 14th.
You pay Rob Pincus for that. You sign up through ICEtraining.us. You should absolutely take advantage of training with Rob Pincus while he's in Central City, Iowa.
There's
in your
about an
backyard.
80% chance I might be there on Thursday.
He will probably be one of the students. I might be a student. There'll be several people we know who have had lots of training that are still going to be students.
Sure.
And it's always fun and unique to train with Rob. He's a good instructor.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Very good.
ICE training.
ICE as in I period, C period, E period, training.us.
.us, okay.
.us.
I don't know
Yep.
if there's periods between the letters. Might have to check that out, Shane.
All right.
Really, you can go and find, no, not on the web address. You're right.
Yeah.
Sorry. But you can also find those listed as Facebook events on my Facebook page. Even though it's his class, I created Facebook events to help direct people that way, Shane. So, but some other things. So why he's here, he teaches on the 12th. He teaches on the 14th. So on the 13th, there's like a day off, right? So, but Rob doesn't ever have days off. So we're going to have him on the podcast in the morning.
So 9:30 on the 13th, be here. We're going to have the largest audience we've ever
We
had.
will. We really will. It'll
Let's
be
do it.
amazing. Especially if Rob would pimp us early. We'll see. Yeah. So, and then that night, we're going to go trap shooting. You should go too. So on June 13th at night from 5 to 10 at Northland Fish and Game, and you don't have to be a member to come do it, we're going to go trap shoot to raise money for the Northland Fish and Game youth shooting programs. And not just shooting. Like just, I said, hey, I want to raise money, and I want to earmark it toward the youth programs. I don't care what they are. If you want to teach them bow and arrows or how to find turtles or whatever, just youth programs, because they do a lot more than just shooting stuff. So $25 gets you an awesome grilled meal, which will be cooked on the spot. So the event's 5 to 10, as in we don't know how late it'll run. I will tell you this, dinner is 5 to 7. So even though they're grilling it fresh for you, they're only gonna I'm only gonna have them there like 2 hours. So you get an awesome grilled meal, which I don't know if you've ever been up there before when I hosted and had the cook guy in the parking lot. It's good stuff, isn't it? So
Yep, very good.
Yeah. So $25 gets you in, gets you a chance to win a shotgun I'm giving away. It gets you dinner. It gets you a 25-round box of shotgun shells and a round of trap. And if you don't have a gun, doesn't matter. We have guns we're bringing up there, and we have instructor people, as in trap shooters, not me and Mike, who will give you pointers if you want them. And there's range safety officers. So 5 to 10 o'clock at night, June 13th, Northland Fish and Game. Like I said, it's only $25, and that gets you dinner and a round of trap, and you might go home with a new shotgun that I'm giving away. And you can talk to Rob Pincus or shoot against him or go see if you can do better than him on the wobble trap.
Can they hang out, have a burger, and just make a donation?
If you want to just hang out and have a burger and make a donation, you just come see me, find me on the grounds, and we'll do that. That's a great idea. Good point.
It was a question.
I was trying to make people pay up front so we know how much food to have there, but way to throw me a curveball.
No, it's a question we had, so I just thought
We'll roll with it.
Yeah.
Did somebody really ask that?
Yeah, somebody did.
Look at that. Matt, yes, you can.
So where do
Right.
people go again to pay ahead of time, or can people show up and pay?
You
for
pay
the
ahead of time by going to, what's Julie doing at the store right now? You can pay my store. There's a Bookio link. I will make sure she has that up today.
Okay, on your Facebook page.
On my Facebook page. Or you can literally just call up the store and say, I want a ticket for that night, and we'll get you one. Because those are the people that have a chance to win the gun, or the people that prepay $25.
Okay.
Make that clear.
And this is the Rob Pincus website.
There you go. That's what it looks like.
icetraining.us calendar.
And then you just go down to the dates, June
June
12th.
and 13th.
And it says,
register online right there.
look at
Just
that,
clickety
Shane.
click.
I have a
Just do
job
that.
for you. I don't know if you've heard of this place called Seatle Outfitters. I would like you to come over and sit in what we call the classroom and help me try to learn how to use some devices and stuff.
I'm all about helping.
I would get you an assistant named Eric. He would help you out.
So I just looked at my calendar. So we have an intuitive defensive shooting class on July 7th.
Yes.
In Searsboro.
Yes.
And then we have
you have
medical class on
here.
July 8th.
Yes.
See how that whole I'm booked until August thing
I
goes?
know.
And then you have one on June 9th.
9th is sold out. Yep.
Not sold out, sorry. How about August 25th?
There's room in that.
Okay, so
Yes,
August
there is.
25th. And that's what I have right now. I think we have some other ones. but
Yeah. There's other ones. Yeah.
We'll get some links up.
Yes. And you have rifle class in the fall. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but right now, 25 meter targets. We're talking Rob Pincus like in next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you just say 25-meter targets?
I did.
Like we're talking about the close stuffing in?
Yeah.
Did you just throw out some military lingo there?
That's how I think, dude.
Really?
That's how I think. So
Did you pick up on that,
when
Mr.
you got-
Airborne Ranger over there?
No, I
when
actually
you
didn't.
set
No,
priorities,
I didn't.
I used to have in my desk. I used to have a little like
25
to-do-
yards and in matters.
I used to have a
doesn't it?
to-do list, and I'd put 25, and then I put 50, and then I put 100, and that's
Yeah.
like the order that I would like fix stuff or whatever.
Hey, we lost 7 of our viewers. So
Yeah,
we better
'cause-
get.
yeah,
We're rambling.
we're rambling.
No. Anything else? Is there any other training?
Nope,
No,
we're good.
Nope, we're good. So, as always, thank you very, very much, because Shane won't have to remind me today. Thank you for listening to us. We'll try to hang in there as long as we can. We'll figure out if we can keep doing the podcast. But for God's sakes, you have to watch when Mike interviews Rob and says, what do you do for a living?
When we interview Rob.
Okay. We'll see who he picks on more, me or you. But again, thank you for following us. To any of you out there, also all of you, put it the same way. Thanks for supporting CVO. I'm happy to be here after 17 years. Even though my directions might change, I appreciate all the support of everybody who's, if you've been a one-time customer and left, or you're still coming, I still appreciate it. I'll keep trying to make you proud and put other people in place that'll make you proud. So, again, Mike, thanks for being here. Shane, thanks for
Always.
your technical help.
I have
One more thing he wants to add. Help me out.
Even if and when CVO isn't doing Facebook Lives, you can always listen to their current podcasts and past podcasts on iTunes and Stitcher. iTunes if you have an iPhone, and Stitcher if you have a Samsung device of any kind. Android device, thank you. But you can just go to Stitcher, type in, you search for the podcast. It's CVO Gun Talk. So you can always ingest their show that way.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
And YouTube until it goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. All right. Anything else you need to add?
We're good.
Anything else, Shane?
No, sir.
Thank you all very much for listening. Thank you for supporting my store. Thank you for supporting Mike. Thanks for listening to the Brain in the Corner Talk. As always, watch out for the red Chevy truck.
Peace out.
Peace out.